Welcome to the channel JAIIB and CAIIB Made Simple. In this particular video, we are going to cover top 150 MCQs for your upcoming examination of cyber security and fraud management. So all these questions which I am going to present before you have been taken from the previous year memory based question which I have collected from the aspirant who have appeared in the examination. You will be able to see different varieties of question, maybe in the form of fill in the blanks, in the form of MCQs, in the form of match the following question, and it covered the entire syllabus. So I want you to give these questions, attempt this question as a mock test. First of all, go through the question, think about the answer in your mind, and then see the explanation part. This will ultimately help you for the upcoming examination. And if you want PDF of such kind of videos, we have collection of all the previous year question from starting from January 2025 till now. You can WhatsApp me on the number shown on the screen. And if you want a study material also for this particular examination, you can WhatsApp me on the number shown on the screen. So let's get started with our very first question.
Mira, she has a client who started cross boundaries, right? So basically she is a freelance graphic designer. They recently ended a professional collaboration with a client Vikram, and but after he make inappropriate personal comment, so he was making personal comment and demanding that she be available all the time, her constant availability, right? When she finally blocked him, the real problem started. After the Samira stopped responding to his message, then the real problem started. So what was the real problem? That she received frequent email from anonymous account, right? Frequent email from various burner account or anonymous account, not just random email. These contain exact detail about her day, right? A specific detail about her daily routine, which cafe she visited, which coffee she ordered. So someone is clearly tracking her movement online or offline. And then what happened? A fake profile is created using her photos, right? Someone has created a fake profile using her professional portfolio photo, right? And this fake profile is posting derogatory comment on her real post to damage her reputation, right? They are posting derogatory comment on her legitimate post to damage her reputation. This is targeted attack. And then her website contact form is filled with threat, which means the message include personal line like I can see you working late, right? Then this is meant to scare, intimidate, and mentally exhaust her. And lastly, her colleague don't take it seriously. So they say that when she mentioned these things to a professional colleague, they say that just block him. But this is not normal allowance. This is psychological harassment happening repeatedly and digitally. Now she is constantly anxious, checking her surrounding, unable to focus, productivity goes down. So basically these are the real emotional impact of online harassment. So this is the case study. Now basically let's talk about the question that we have. So the question is, which term most accurately describe the situation Samira is facing? Phishing, cyber stalking, doxing, and ransomware. So basically let's talk about this particular question. So what exactly is this? So this is the exact textbook definition of cyber stalking. This is the exact textbook definition of cyber stalking. So what happened, friends, the question is which term most accurately describe the situation Samira is facing. So basically this is the classical textbook definition of cyber stalking. So when someone repeatedly uses the internet, suppose someone repeatedly uses the internet or digital tool, right? Digital tool to harass, to threaten, to monitor a person activity. So when someone repeatedly uses the internet or digital tool to harass, to threaten, or to monitor a person activity, right? So that is what we call cyber stalking, right? So basically everything Samira is facing fit perfectly. Like let me just highlight. So first of all, she is facing the persistent unwanted digital attention. Yes, she is facing digital attention. Another thing that she is facing, tracking her movement. Her movement is being tracked, right? Then fake online profile. Yes, you can see fake profile has been created. Then threat and intimidation. Yes, she is facing this threat. She is facing this intimidation. In addition to that, she is facing the psychological distress, right? She is facing the psychological distress. So basically on the basis of that, the correct answer is option number B. right? So you can remember it like this: if someone is constantly watching you online, that's called cyber stalking. So one way to remember it like this is stalking plus internet. Stalking plus internet, this is what combined, this is called, cyber stalking. Fine. So that is the point. So cyber stalking involve repeated online harassment, repeated online monitoring, fake account, threatening email, online impersonation, tracking someone activity. That's called cyber stalking. Now, friend, the question number 2 of this particular case study is that what is the most critical step Samira should take to protect herself and build a case? Option number A, immediately post a public warning on her male social media account naming Vikram. Option B, delete her entire online presence and seizes all freelance work to avoid contact. Option C, document every incident by taking a screenshot of email, comment, timestamp and saving them in a secure backed up file. Reply to one of the anonymous email to demand to know how they are tracking her location. C, basically before Samira can take any action, whether legal, cyber reporting or even talking to authority, the most important step is the, what is the most important step? Let me explain. Before Samira can take any kind of action, right, whether legal, cyber reporting or even talking to authority, the most important thing is collecting proof. So let's understand why. Because Samira is facing repeated harassment, right? She is facing repeated harassment like mail, right, fake account, threat and impersonation. But unless she capture these incident, right, what happened? They can disappear anytime. So main thing is capturing the incident. So remember, burner email account can be deleted. Obviously the burner email account can be deleted, and fake profile can be removed, or threatening message can be edited. Contact form submission may get auto cleared. So if she has no evidence, then anyone can claim it never happened. So main thing is evidence collection. Evidence collection is the main thing. Now if you look at the option that we have, some option they have given, this is the option number A. No. Yes, C is the correct answer. Document everything, because taking a screenshot, record the exact content, saving timestamp. Yes, she can save the timestamp. So show the frequency and the pattern. It show the frequency. It also show the pattern. Then keeping everything in secured, backed up location. It ensures data safety. And finally, this documentation become the foundation of any legal or police complaint. Right? So without documentation, Samira cannot build a strong case. If you look at the option number A, it is saying, posting a public warning. Actually, this can backfire. It may be considered defamation or provoke the harasser even more. Not safe. So option number A is wrong. What about B, deleting her entire online presence? So this does not solve the issue, right? It does not solve the issue. Actually, it just destroy her professional identity as well as the income. So also the harasser may continue from elsewhere. Okay, so that's the point. What about option number D? Option number D says that, reply to one of the anonymous email to demand to know how they are tracking her location. So this is quite dangerous, right? It confirms she is reading the message. It may escalate the harassment or expose more of her personal info. So the correct thing is document everything. So remember, the thing is that if there is no proof, then there is no case. Fine. So proof start with a screenshot. So what we learned from this discussion is that, the first step in handling the cyber harassment is to record every incident. Yes, you have to record every incident, right? Recording is the first and foremost thing that has to be done. And to the context of recording, a screenshot, right? A screenshot plus timestamp. So these two things, it gives a strong evidence. It gives, a strong evidence. So avoid responding, avoid deleting account, avoid public accusation. Documentation is essential. Friends, before continuing to the part 3 question of this case study, let me introduce you to our certificate examination course for prevention of cybercrime and fraud management. So as you can see, in this particular course, you get unit-wise theory, unit-wise MCQs PDF, previous year question paper, which include case studies also, like we are discussing just now, module-wise quick revision PDF. Inside theory and MCQ PDF, I have arranged it in 4 modules. So inside each module, there are several unit-wise content, which includes theory PDF as well as MCQs PDF. This will help you cover the entire syllabus with confidence you can check out. And also I have added few case studies for practice purpose. In the previous year question starting from February 2025, I have added all possible questions which we have recollected from the aspirant, as well as there is a module wise quick revision PDF which enable you revise the entire content in a very short span of time. If you want to get access to this, check out the link in the description section, or you can WhatsApp me on the number shown on the screen. Friends, let's look at the question number 3 of the same case study. Question is, which of the following is the most appropriate professional action for Samira to take next? So option number A, that ignore the threat, assuming they are just word and not real world action. Consult with a legal professional and report the evidence. Hire a private investigator to track down Vikram physical address and reach out to Vikram family or friend to ask them to intervene. See, once the Samira has collected all the evidence, the next step is to take professional and legal action. She cannot fight this alone. So basically, we are talking to the context of, cyber stalking, right? So what is the meaning of cyber stalking? It is a serious criminal offense. Please understand, this cyber stalking, it is a kind of serial criminal offense, and the threat Samira is receiving, it clearly shows that her physical safety, her mental strength, and not only that, in addition to her professional life, right, are being targeted. Fine. So these things are being targeted. This clearly indicates. Number B is the perfect answer for this question, because a legal professional can guide her on the relevant cyber law and restraining order or legal notice. So, and one more thing I want to tell you, that law enforcement, right, law enforcement, or cyber crime unit, they have tools, right? Cyber crime unit, they have tools to track the IP address, identify the fake account, right, and investigate the threat. So cyber crime unit, right, and professionally ensure the case is handled safely. Professional ensure that the case is handled safely and formally and without escalation. And this is the standard recommendation procedure in case of digital threat. So yes, if you look at the option number A, so it says that you ignore the threat. Actually, it is wrong, right? This is dangerous because threat may escalate from online to offline. Yes, threat, it may escalate from online to offline, right? Not protecting herself. So A is wrong. What about C? Hire a private investigator. No, that's also wrong, because it is not safe. It is not a standard in the cyber crime case. Cyber crime investigation must be done by authorized agencies. What about D? Contact Vikram family. No. This case can worsen the situation. It can lead to emotional confrontation and may alert the harasser. So not professional, not safe. Correct answer is B. So remember, after you have collected the evidence, so once evidence has been collected, then basically law plus cyber cell connected. Fine. So cyber crime is police professional legal help. So after documenting, the next step is legal and law enforcement action, and lawyer guide the legal process. Cyber unit investigate the digital threat. Now let's switch our focus to the case study number 2. Very interesting case study. Let's understand what exactly happened at the solar system, right? On Monday morning, Sarah, the operation. So what is the solar system? It is a kind of medium-sized local solar panel installation company. So the name of company is Solar Systems, right? So on Monday morning, Sarah, the operational manager, and she tried to log into the company system, but suddenly she is logged out of the scheduling and client software. So she is logged out of the scheduling and the client software. Then every office computer shows a pop-up message demanding cryptocurrency. So it shows a pop-up window that your network has been seized. All files are encrypted with RSA. To receive the decryption key, send this much Ethereum to the provided wallet address. All important files now have a strange cryptic extension. So their backup system failed month ago, so they can't restore anything. No recent copy of their work. The attacker even threatened to leak confidential client contract if the ransom is not paid. So this is the classic cyber crime pattern, right? So now obviously they will be panicked about the legal liability, right? Now the question is basically, what is the most accurate classification of the cyber incident at the solar system? So option number A, MITM attack, ransomware, and distributed denial of services and social engineering. Very good question. See, as the name itself suggests, this is the classic case of ransomware. Yes, let me explain little bit about this so-called ransomware. So basically, ransomware, what happened, the file get encrypted. System become, system become unusable, a ransom note appear, and attacker immediately demand payment. Attacker demand payment. And there is the attacker, there is a threat to leak data. This is called double extortion. This is called double extortion. So this particular firm, so-called solar system, they are experiencing every single one of these. File getting encrypted, system is becoming unstable, and ransom note appear. So threat to the leak data, everything they are experiencing. So yes, this is the exact definition, is called ransomware. If you look at the MITM, so MITM usually means intercepting communication between two parties. So this is all about intercepting communication. Why I'm explaining each and every option? Because there may be chances that it may be appear in the upcoming examination. So MITM attack means intercepting communication. Then distributed denial of services, also called DDoS. So it flood server to knock them offline. It flood the server. It flood the server to knock them offline. Here system are locked due to encryption. And what about social engineering? See, while ransomware can enter through any social engineering like phishing. Social engineering is like phishing. Phishing is a typical case of social engineering. So ransomware can enter through social engineering, but the real attack type is encryption. What is the real attack type? It is encryption plus ransom demand. Encryption plus ransom demand. Fine. So the correct answer to this question is option number B. So what we learned from this discussion is that if file turn into gibberish plus ransom demand, it is called ransomware. So let me explain. Encrypt, extort, and then ransom. Fine. So the formula is, let me write down the formula here. So what is the basic formula? So you can write encryption plus payment demand combined together. These two combined together give you ransomware. Fine. So ransomware means file encrypted plus ransom demand. Threat to leak data, double extortion ransomware. DDoS is like crashing server. DDoS is not it is just like a flooding the server. And MITM is intercepting communication. Now question number 2. So the question number 2 is very conceptual question. It is asking, when dealing with the ransom demand, what is the most recommended course of action? Yes, such type of questions are being asked. What should they do? Option number A, pay 2.5 Ethereum immediately to ensure operation resume by Tuesday. Negotiate with attacker to see if they will accept a lower price. Refrain from paying. Isolate the infected system. Notify the authority. Consult cyber security professional. And wipe all the hard drive immediately and start the business from scratch. See, basically when a company is hit with a ransomware attack, the biggest question is, should we pay the ransom? So to the context of solar system case, what is happening to the case of solar system, as you can see. So their file get encrypted. Fine. Then their operation are frozen. Frozen. Then the attacker is demanding cyber cryptocurrency. Attacker is demanding the cryptocurrency, and backup has failed. No backup. What happened to backup? Backup failed. Right. There is a threat of data leak. Yes, obviously data leak threat is there. So it is natural for the leadership to panic, but even then also paying the ransom is not the recommended action. Why? Because paying does not guarantee data recovery. Suppose you pay the amount, so does it guarantee the data recovery? Cyber criminal often take the money and disappear. So there is zero guarantee. There is zero guarantee that they will send the decryption key. What is the guarantee that they will send the decryption key? No guarantee at all. And paying encourage more attack. Once an attacker know that you are willing to pay, they may strike again. Yes, they may strike again. Right. Then what you should do? Authorize, globally advise not to pay. Right. So cybercrime unit, CERT team and law enforcement recommend isolate infected system, report the incident, bring in cyber security expert, start forensic investigation. This help prevent further damage and uncover the attack method. Right. So when professional can sometimes recover data, ransomware response team identify the ransomware strain. Not only that, check if the decryption tool exists, block further spread. So the correct answer is option number A says that pay immediately. No, this is wrong. Fastest ways to lose the money. No guarantee of recovery. negotiate with the attacker. This still involve paying, still risky, illegal in some case. Wipe hardware and start over? No. Correct answer is C. Don't pay, isolate the system and report plus investigate. So I hope it is clear. Now third question of this particular case study in your screen. So what best practices was missing? So what best practices was missing that would have significantly mitigated the damage of this attack? Yes, how they could avoid this attack? So option A, implementing 3-to-1 backup strategy, 3 copies, 2 different media, 1 keep offsite. Increasing the company's social media presence to build brand trust. Switching from desktop computer to laptop. And using a faster internet service provider to detect the attacker. See, the biggest mistake that solar system has done was not having a proper backup strategy. Yes, this was the biggest mistake. They were not having a proper backup strategy. Fine. Look at what happened. The entire network was encrypted. Right. Entire network. What happened to the network? Entire network got encrypted. Fine. All files become unreadable. Their automated backup system failed 3 months ago. So obviously they have no recent backup to restore them. No backup. Fine. So this is exactly why company should follow 3-to-1 backup rule, which is considered the industry best practice. So what is this 3-to-1 backup strategy? What does it mean? Let me explain. So basically it says that, you should have 3 copies. You should have 3 copies of your data. First point. Then 2 stands for 2 different type of storage media. You should have 2 types of storage media. And then 1 copy is stored offsite. 1 copy is stored offsite or offline. Fine. So if the solar system has followed this, even if ransomware encrypted their network, they could still restore the offsite or offline backup. See, so this is called 3-to-1 backup strategy. Suppose if they have followed this 3-to-1 backup strategy, even if ransomware encrypted their network, they could still restore the offsite or offline backup. Their operation would resume quickly. They would not be at the mercy of the attacker. So backup break the power of ransomware. If you look at the other option number B, say increasing the social media presence. See, this had nothing to do with the cyber security or data protection. Option C, switching desktop to laptop. So changing device does not protect against ransomware. Backup also always do. And using faster internet, no, nothing there. So proper 3-to-1 backup system is the key. 3 copy, 2 places, 1 safe. Right, this way remember. 3 copy, 2 places, 1 safe. 3 backup, 2 media, 1 offline. This is a quick way of ransomware recovery. So remember, ransomware damage becomes severe only when no backup exists. 3-to-1 backup strategy is the industry standard practice. Have a look. Now have a look at the case study number 3. Very important case study. So this attack is a perfect example of how digital action can cause real world physical damage. See what happened. Let's break down the radical activities collective known as Grid Ghost. Actually what they did, they hacked the monorail routing system. And that's called omni transit. They overrode safety protocol, right? And they forced 2 trains onto the same track. See what happened, that is the mega corporation that recently automated the city entire public transport. The group claimed to protesting against the demonization of the workforce. And during the attack, what did they override safety protocol. They infiltrate the central routing system. They override safety protocol and force 2 high-speed trains into the shared track. So emergency brake activated. That injured the passenger. Passenger were physically injured. This is not just JAIIB. This is a physical harm caused through digital glitch. Now they double cooling system in the server warehouse. They double the cooling system in the Omni Transit primary server warehouse. A small fire started. So hardware critically heated. A spark localized fire. Drone delivery system also collapsed. Right. And again digital control, right? Physical destruction. So overall they are causing physical destruction. In addition to that, they have hijacked the advertising billboards. This is the digital vandalism, but compared to the first 2 actions, this is minor. So basically the fatality, the experience significant physical injuries. Question is, based on the act taken against the rail and server warehouse, how could cybersecurity experts classify this cyber attack? So what is the name of that? Pure digital espionage, social engineering campaign, cyber physical attack, standard website development. See, this is the classic case of cyber. Let me write it down. This is the classic case of cyber physical or cyber kinetic attack. See, what is this cyber physical attack? Let me explain. Basically, this attack happened when hacker breached the digital system. Suppose there is a hacker what he does, he breaches the digital system and cause real world physical effect. It causes the real world physical effect, right? Injuries, file, infrastructure damage. So key idea is that jump from digital world to the physical world. See what is happening. So he is jumping from digital world into the physical world, right? So basically the everything that grid host did this is definition. Train malfunctioning, injuries. See what is happening. Once the train malfunction, this causes injury. Server overheating, fire. Logistic network collapse, physical consequence. So it is not just hacking. It is not just vandalism. It is just data theft. It is not just data theft. It is just digital action causing real world physical problem. And the correct word is cyber physical attack. If it is, so option number A is wrong. It's not pure digital espionage. So when I say espionage, it means spying. It just means spying. It just means data theft. Right. Here the attacker causes physical injury and fire, not spying. What about social engineering? See, not social engineering is about the tricking people or psychological manipulation. This was a pure technical exploitation. What about the standard website defacement? See, this is only changing visuals on a web page. It is all about changing visuals on a web page. Here trains were nearly crashed, right? So remember, if any kind of digital action causes physical pain, the correct word is the cyber physical attack. Please understand. Now question number 2 of the same question. So here what happened, the grid ghost aesthetic chart, high-tech hacking, rebellious anti-corporate messaging, and dystopian view of automated city is most closely associated with cultural literacy genre. Option A, cyberpunk, steampunk, alternate history, utopian fiction. See, the visual style and the message used by the grid ghosts, it perfectly fit into one famous genre, and that genre is called cyberpunk. Let's break down the clues. So they have given some clues here. The first clue they have given is the glitch art. Let me write it down. Glitch art and distorted visual. Glitch art and distorted visual. See what is happening. Cyberpunk story frequently uses glitchy graphics, right? What they use? They use just let me write it down. Glitchy graphics. Not only glitchy graphics, they are also using neon chaos plus digital corruption. Yes, they are using the digital corruption to show a world overloaded with technology and also high-tech hacking and futuristic system. So the grid ghost hack monorail, drones, server. This is straight from cyberpunk theme. What happened in the cyberpunk theme? Hacker fight the mega corporation, right? Hacker, what they do? They fight the mega corporation. Technology control society. Digital warfare become normal. And rebellion against powerful corporation. Cyberpunk always feature anti-corporations, underground group, social inequality, technology. So I hope it's clear. Now what about the dystopian? Basically, the word they have also mentioned is the dystopian view. So cyberpunk, it includes high plus low life, ultra advanced system. So the closest is the cyberpunk. So it means, so whenever you see this word cyberpunk, please remember, it is the combination of hacker plus mega corporation plus dystopian tech view. If you talk about steampunk, steampunk uses steam power, Victoria era, no hack. So this was the earliest technology. Alternate history, it reimagined history event, but nothing else changes history timeline. And what about utopian fiction? So utopia means perfect society. So the word utopia means perfect society. So this scenario is a chaos, rebellion, dystopia. This is exactly the opposite. So high tech plus low life, it is a clear example of cyberpunk. Now very good question we have. To prevent a group like it goes from accessing the monorail routing and warehouse cooling system from the outside internet, what foundational security measure must Omni Transit implement? Enforce the use of a default manufacturer password for easy emergency access, connecting all critical infrastructure directly to public Wi-Fi, implementing strict network segmentation and strong access control, relying solely on physical security guard at the main corporate office. See, great question. The reason it could take a critical system like monorail routing is because, what is the reason, because this system were probably exposed or connected in a really protected network. Yes. Let me write down what was the main reason behind all this event was the, exposed system were exposed plus connected in a weak protected network. Yes, it was a weak protected network, right? So, remember the critical system must never be directly connected to the public internet, right? Critical network must never be connected to the public internet. Infrastructure like train system, server cooling system, industrial sensor, power supply, it should be on the private isolated network. So this system should be on the private plus isolated network. right? It should not be on the same network as website, employee email, public facing app, or customer support portal. What about network segmentation? You know what happened? Here they have mentioned the word, let me highlight, yes, network segmentation. See, network segmentation is what, you know, that breaking the company network into separate isolated section. Let me explain. What is the meaning of segmentation? So it simply means that company network, this is the company network, and what you are doing, you are breaking into, you know, separate sections. So this is section number 1, this is section number 2, this is section number 3. That is what we mean with network segmentation. And also not only that, we are limiting who and what can access the sensitive system. So limiting the access. Not only that, ensuring that if the hacker enter one part of the network, they cannot reach the core machinery. Right? That is why, you know, segmentation is considered a foundational cybersecurity best practice. Right? Now the second point is strong access control. Yes, this means multi-factor authentication. You might have heard the name of MFA. It means limited admin privilege. So admin privilege should also be less. It means, you know, strict monitoring. So remember, only authorized verified stock access critical system. So yes, option C is right. If you look at the other option that they have provided, so option number A says that, you know, enforcing the use of default password. See, default manufacturer password are a huge security risk. Attacker can find them online in second. What about B? Connecting critical infrastructure to public Wi-Fi. So this is extremely dangerous. Public Wi-Fi is not secure. So therefore the correct answer is option number C. So remember, if control machine, keep it in online. Segment the network, stop the hacker. Separate network, safer network. Very, very important. Now the case study, I think this is the last one. Right. The case study is TechNova website. So what happened, you know, TechNova, it is a mid-sized online electronic retailer. It has been heavily advertising the exclusive launch of a highly anticipated new gaming console on their website. And the launch is scheduled for 10 a.m. on Friday. What happened, you know, at exactly 10:01 a.m., the TechNova website became completely unresponsive. The customer trying to access the site received connection timeout or service unavailable error. See, the TechNova website did not crash because that IT monitoring team immediately began the investigation. They observed that there is unprecedented massive volume of incoming network traffic hitting the primary web server, and this traffic is originating simultaneously from thousands of different IP addresses spread across various geographical locations. The server processing power and memory are at 100% utilization, simply trying to acknowledge the incoming connection request. IP database logs, so no sign of data extraction, no administrator or customer account have been compromised or guessed. So question is, based on symptom of the ITT, what kind of attack is this? A ransomware infection, a DDoS, a coordinated brute force attack, and SQL injection? Very good question. See, basically the TechNova website did not crash because someone hacked into the base. No. The problem is not that, you know, someone hacking. So hacking is not an issue. Right? It crashed because, you know, server was drawing in the traffic. Right, so that it could not handle traffic. It could not handle. At 10 a.m., the website became unresponsive. The IT team sees unprecedented volume of incoming traffic. Let me highlight the word. The keyword that you must keep in the mind here. Let me highlight it. It is just this one. Unprecedented volume of yes. Unprecedented massive volume of incoming traffic. That traffic is not coming from one computer, one country, but, you know, thousands of sources worldwide. This is exactly what, you know, botnet do. You might have heard the name of botnet, right? This is exactly what botnet do. Infected device around the world send fake traffic to overload a server. And, you know, one more point they have given, that CPU and memory at 100% utilization. It is simply overwhelmed by too many simultaneous requests. So there is no sign of data theft, no SQL attempt, no ransomware pop-up, no file encrypted. The attacker is not trying to steal anything. They are trying to block access by flooding the system. So this is the typical definition of what we call, you know, DDoS attack. Yes, DDoS attack. B is the correct answer. So what is the meaning of this DDoS attack? Let me explain. See, when we talk about this DDoS attack, it means, you know, many device sending huge amount of, you know, fake traffic to overload the server. The key point is, you know, overloading the server and make the website unavailable. And this TechNova symptom match this 100%. This TechNova case match is 100%. So B is the correct answer. If we talk about ransomware, you know, ransomware is not a correct answer. Ransomware encrypt the file and demand money. There is no encryption, no ransom note, no file damage. What about brute force attack? See, when I say brute force, it means guessing password repeatedly. So this is called, you know, guessing password repeatedly. But the log show no account compromise, no password guessing. And SQL injection, you know, it is trying to steal or manipulate database data. SQL injection means steal or manipulate the database data. So database logs, so no extraction, no injection attempt. So SQL injection is not a correct answer. So remember, when the server dies from too much traffic, it is called DDoS. Flood of request, that's called denial of service. Flood from many sources. See, two words that you will see here most frequently. Let me highlight it. So the first word is, denial of service, DOS, right? What is denial of service? Denial of service means, flood of request. And there is something called, distributed DDoS. This is called DOS. And then we call it distributed DOS. What does it mean? It means from flood from many source. Flood from many source, that is called distributed DOS. That's the difference. So when the server die from too much traffic, it's called DOS, right? So DDoS means traffic flood that crashes a website, thousands of IP, no data theft, classic case of DDoS. Ransomware is all about file encryption. Brute force is a password guessing. SQL injection is a data theft, which is not happening here. Now the next part of the question is, according to the investigation, what is the primary goal of the threat actor in this specific incident? So what is the primary goal of the threat actor? To steal sensitive customer payment information, to permanently delete the product database, to overwhelm server resource and knock the website offline, to install malware on the device of user. See, in this attack, the hacker are not interested in stealing anything, right? In this particular DDoS attack that we call it, remember, this hacker, right? Hacker is not interested in stealing anything. He don't want to steal. Rather, the only goal is to stop the website from functioning. To stop the website stop from functioning. Let's analyze the situation logically. See what is happening. The key point that they have mentioned, that server is drawing in traffic, right? Let me highlight it. Let me go through the question. So as you can see, they have clearly mentioned that that server is drawing in the traffic. The first point there you can see. So because of this, CPU is at 100%, memory is at 100%, and the site become unresponsive. This clearly indicate that they are trying to block the real user. Yes, they are trying to block the real user, right, from accessing the product launch. Thousands of IP address. This means attack is coming from many different machine. It is a kind of botnet, right? So purpose of the botnet is to overload the traffic overload. This is the botnet, not data theft. And there is no sign of hacking or data theft, no account compromise, no SQL queries, no malware install attempt. So this proves that attacker are not trying to steal information. The system is simply what, choking, right? This is not, the problem is not intrusion. The problem is traffic volume. This is the classic intention behind DDoS attack. Make the website unavailable so that the legitimate user cannot use it, right? This is exactly what happened at 10 to 1. So if you look at friends, I hope DDoS attack is clear. And the next question is to mitigate, right? To mitigate the impact of this current attack and prevent similar outage during the future project launches, which security control would be the most effective implementation for Technova? Option A says routing traffic through a contact delivery network, that's called CDN, equipped with DDoS protection, implementing multi-factor authentication, upgrading the antivirus software installed directly on the main web server, and requiring user to solve complex CAPTCHA before they can view the product page. So friends, into the context of this particular question, the problem with Technova website is not hacking. What is the problem? So here, the problem is not hacking. The problem is the overload. Yes, overload is the problem. Hacking is not the problem. So too many fake requests coming too fast from too many places. So the solution should focus on, absorbing. The solution should focus on, absorbing and, absorbing and filtering the massive traffic. Absorbing and filtering the massive traffic before it reaches the Technova actual server. And that is exactly what a CDN with DDoS protection does. Yes, please remember this CDN, that is content delivery network, along with DDoS protection, this is exactly what it does. So what does the CDN do? Let me explain. CDN full form, that's called, content delivery network, CDN. So it spread website traffic across many global server, right? So what it does, it spread website traffic across, many global server. Fine. It reduces pressure on your main server. Pressure reduced. And it filter out the malicious request. Malicious requests filter out. So instead of millions of requests hitting one server, they are shared across hundred of server, right? So they are shared across, hundred of server. So this prevents the server overload that caused the Technova crash. So I hope this is clear why this CDN with DDoS protection is perfect, because it can detect the fake traffic, it can block the malicious traffic, allow only the legitimate customer, absorb huge volume without failing. So if you look at the option that they are provided, option A is correct. B is multi-factor authentication. So it protects the user account, not the website availability. So DDoS is not trying to log in, it is trying to crush the server. Or what about option C? Upgrade antivirus. So again, it is antivirus protect the server from malware, right? But DDoS is a kind of traffic flood. So the keyword to remember DDoS is the traffic flood. So C is not correct. What about D? It says complex captcha. Yes, captcha help the bot from logging in, but here nobody is logging in. The server dies before the loading the page. So the captcha cannot load the server either. So remember what we can remember it like this, that DDoS, it means traffic flood. DDoS, it means traffic flood, and CDN, it act like a traffic shield, right? So huge traffic uses a big network called CDN. Fake traffic, filter it out. DDoS protection. So DDoS means traffic overload. CDN spread and filter traffic to prevent overload. MFA, antivirus, captcha handle other threat, not DDoS. So friends, we have some more case study available with us, and that I will explain to our paid member, whoever have accessed our course. If you want to get access to such kind of question, you can WhatsApp me on this particular number. Introduced major reform in early 1990s. So the biggest milestone was the creation of SEBI. Right, this was the biggest milestone. Security and Exchange Board of India. It was established in the year 1992. Right, it was established in 1992. And SEBI became the main regulator of the equity market. Right, SEBI become the main regulator of the equity market. Just like RBI control bank, similarly SEBI control the share market. Fine. So the reform focused on what? The reform focused on regulatory effectiveness, making the market faster and smoother, competitive condition. That means increasing transparency, reducing information gap, right? Controlling speculation, which means reducing price manipulation and unfair trading, right? So these were the focus of the reform: regulatory effectiveness, competitive condition, information asymmetry, infrastructure development, etc. Right? So another big step was ending the monopoly of the UTI, right? So there was a monopoly of UTI which ended. UTI, what is UTI? UTI is called, Unit Trust of India. As you can see, the full form they have mentioned. So UTI monopoly have ended, right? Earlier, UTI was the only big mutual fund player. After reform, private mutual fund were also allowed to operate, right? This was the impact of UTI. Now, this opened the door for more competition, more investment option, and better return for investor. So the capital market become more modern, competitive, and investor friendly. Now, then we have the foreign investment in capital market. So when we talk about the foreign investment in capital market, in 1992, India took a historic step. It opened the capital market to a foreign institutional investor, right? So capital market was open to FII. So this means large global investor like foreign pension fund, right? Investment bank, asset manager, they could invest in India's share. So what I mean to say that, large global investor like pension fund and insurance company and investment bank and asset manager, they could invest in India's share. So Indian company also got permission to raise fund from international market through American depository receipt, global deposit receipt, foreign currency convertible bond, external commercial borrowing, right? So Indian company got permission to raise fund from international market. So this give Indian company access to cheaper global capital and increase India visibility in the global finance market. So obviously it leads to cheaper global market and also help bring. So remember, this give India companies access to cheaper global market and increase India visibility in the global financial market. So they can raise fund from international market. So this ADR, GDR, FCCB, and ECB. So these are the way that Indian company can raise money from the market. Now, additionally, NRI, OCI, right? NRI, non-resident Indian, OCI, overseas corporate bodies, OCB, sorry. So they also were allowed to invest in Indian company. So this made India an attractive investment destination and helped foreign capital bring foreign capital into the country. So let's revise the key point what we have discussed in this slide, that SEBI was established in the year 1992. Reform improve efficiency, transparency, technology and reduce speculation. Private mutual fund were allowed, UTI's monopoly has ended, and 1992 foreign institutional investors were allowed to enter into Indian market, and then Indian company gained access to global market via ADR, GDR, FCCB and ECB, and NRI and OCB were also permitted to invest in Indian company. Now friends, the next point we have is that let's understand some additional policy changes that supported India's broader financial sector reform. The first thing we have is the capital account convertibility, or we call it CAC. So India's financial reform were not done randomly. They were carefully planned across different sectors, right? So reforms has been strategically planned across various sectors. So like monetary policy, fiscal policy, external sector reform. The idea was that each reform should support and strengthen the other, right? So that they reinforce each other. Each reform, right, they should support and they should strengthen the other. Fine. So one clear example is the RBI step-by-step approach to capital account convertibility. Yes, RBI approach to capital account convertibility is an evidence of this strategy. So when I say capital account convertibility, what it means, allowing money to move freely in and out of the India for investment, loan and business, right? So CAC means what, allowing money to move freely in and out of India. Money can move freely in and out of India for investment, loan and business. Section 66 of IT Act, Section 354D of Indian Penal Code, Section 66C of IT Act, Section 503 of Indian Penal Code. So this question was exactly same question was asked. So let's break. So a person is getting a harassing message again and again, and after blocking the original account, the harasser is now creating fake profile to continue messaging, right? So this is the classic example of electronic stalking. Fine. So in law, stalking does not only mean someone physically follow you, it means digital monitoring. Yes, digital monitoring is also included in the electronic stalking. In addition to that, contacting or troubling someone repeatedly is stalking. So now under the Indian law, there is a section called Section 354D of the IPC, which was added after the 2013 criminal law amendment. So it clearly says that if a man contact a woman repeatedly or try to monitor her online activity or keep messaging her despite her lack of interest, then that is called stalking, including electronic stalking. Here the victim, in this case study, you can see this particular victim has clearly shown her lack of interest, right? But the harasser continue using fake account. So this become persistent unwanted contact, and the correct answer is option number B, right? Now why other option? If we talk about the option number A is all about Section 66A. So Section 66A was regarding the 2015 Supreme Court judgment which was ruled out in the case of Shreya Singhal versus Union of India. A is wrong. What about C? It is 66C of the IT Act. So it pertains to identity theft. Please understand, if the question asks you about identity theft, then Section 66C would be the correct answer. What is identity theft? Like stealing someone's password, login detail. Here the harasser is not stealing the victim identity, only contacting her repeatedly. So 66C is not the correct answer. What about 503 of the IPC? Again remember, this section is about the threatening someone. Stalking may involve threat, but for this situation 354D is the most specific section. So D is not the correct answer, right? So please understand, 503 threatening, 66C is about identity theft. So what we learned from this discussion is that 354D is talk about stalking. Stalking may be physical, stalking may be electronic. Two type of stalking can be there. It cover repeated message, online monitoring, contacting her despite blocking. Then in addition to that, we also get to know 66A, which is invalid here, which was declared invalid, struck down by the Supreme Court in 2015. What about C? It's all about the identity theft, right? It is not about the harassment. What about 503? So 503 IPC is all about the threat, but specifically, not specifically stalking, right? Now friends, so let me tell you a trick to remember it. You can just remember it like this: 354D, like 354 disturbing, D for disturbing, right? So whenever someone disturb you again and again, just think of 354D. Now have a look at the next question. A user continued to monitor and contact a woman I think we have discussed it. Yes. I think so. Let me skip this question. We have already covered it. Yes. Let's look at this question. Question number 3. So what does this say? It says that a user attempt to purchase high-end gadget from a seemingly legitimate e-commerce website. After entering their credit card and OTP on the checkout page, the transaction failed with server error. Within minutes, the user received multiple alerts for unauthorized debit from their account. Investigation revealed website was a pixel perfect replica of the original brand, with cyber attack vector. So in the course, you can see there is a separate folder for theory MCQ PDF, previous year question, almost 7 previous year question I have added, starting from February 2025, part 1, part 2. So each and every, you can see 22 to 25. So each and every question, inside each and every folder you will get question along with explanation, so that you can check out which topic are super important. In addition to that, I have added module wise quick revision PDF that help in the quick revision of this entire syllabus. In addition to that, there is a module wise theory and MCQ PDF. So you can get in the inside each module there are several units. Inside every unit you will get separate theory, a separate MCQ PDF. This will help you in the clarity of the concept. If you want to get access to this content, you can check out the link in the description section. So the user open a website. Okay, so the user open a website that look exactly like a real brand website. And what happened, everything, the logo, the layout, the checkout page looks original, but actually it is a fake copy, right, made by the hackers. So what hackers have done, they have made the fake copy. So when the user enter their credit card detail, CVV, OTP, the website shows server error, transaction failed. But in reality, the details have already been captured and sent to the attacker, and within minute, money start going out of their account. This type of attack is called, phishing. This is called phishing via page spoofing. Phishing via page spoofing. Why? Because phishing means someone tricks you into giving your personal or financial information voluntarily. Someone tricks you to give your personal or financial information voluntarily, right? And when I say page spoofing, that means creating a pixel perfect fake website. So you create a pixel perfect fake website. So together this become a social engineering plus fake web page attack. So if you look at the option, the most appropriate option is phishing via page spoofing. What is smishing? Smishing means phishing through SMS link. See, smishing is also a type of phishing, but when you are doing the phishing via SMS, that is called smishing. Fine. So even if the victim click the SMS link, the actual attack of stealing data happen in the fake website. Now what is MITM? MITM is the man in the middle attack. So it means the hackers sit between you and the real website. So this is you. This is you. And this is the real website. And hackers sit in between. Hackers sit between you and the real website to intercept the data. And here, no interception happened. The user was taken to a completely fake website, not the real one. So MITM is not a correct answer. Hackers sit between you and the real website. What is the SQL injection? See, it means hacking a website database by injecting the code. So basically what happened in SQL, that you are hacking the website database. How you are hacking the website database? By injecting malicious code. Here the attacker did not hack any database, they just tricked the user. So what we learned from this discussion is that a fake website designed to steal your OTP, card, number, password, that's called page spoofing. When the user gave data voluntarily due to deception, that's called phishing. Because of deception, the user voluntarily give the data, that's called phishing. And combined is called phishing via page spoofing. Smishing means phishing via SMS. Man in the middle, which means attacker intercept real communication. Attacker, what it does, they intercept the real communication. That's called MITM. And what is SQL injection? So basically hacking a database, not tricking a person. Suppose you are hacking a database, that is called SQL injection. So remember, the trick to remember is spoof. Spoof means copy, right? So if you see a website that is copy, the attack is called page spoofing. And if the attacker is asking you to enter detail, it becomes phishing. So if you see a website that is exactly a copy, that attack is called page spoofing. And if the attacker tell you to enter your detail, that's called phishing. So we have two things, copy plus ask. So friends, in this question, during a high profile white collar crime trial, the prosecution seek to submit a printed copy of an encrypted WhatsApp conversation and the CCTV footage file stored on a flash drive as a primary evidence. So the question is, according to the Indian Evidence Act, what is the mandatory requirement for this electronic record to be treated as valid and admissible evidence in absence of the original device? So option they have given like this. The original physical server where the data was first stored must be produced. So during a high profile white collar crime trial, the prosecution want to submit a printed copy of an encrypted WhatsApp conversation and a CCTV footage stored on a flash drive. So as a primary evidence, fine. But the original device, like basically phone, CCTV, DVR, server it is not available. So original device is not available. You can see now, in absence of the original device. So what is the mandatory requirement under the Indian Evidence Act to make this electronic record legally admissible? So mandatory requirement for this electronic record to be treated as valid and admissible evidence. What is the mandatory requirement? Option A, produce the original server. The original physical server must be produced in the court. Option B, a simple affidavit, a written affidavit. Option C, certificate under the section number 65B. Option D, they are considered hearsay unless supported by oral testimony. Right, these are the four options that they have provided. You have to select the correct one. SOD, which is the blue screen of death, right, event across all its regional office in Europe, Asia and the America simultaneously. Investigation revealed that a corrupted automated software update was pushed to all the endpoints. Despite having local server mirror, the company is unable to restore operation for 48 hours because recovery data was synced to the same corrected update. So which specific organization policy was insufficiently implemented? That's the question. AUP, cloud governance policy, backup and disaster recovery policy, and bring your own device policy. So basically these are the options that they have provided. So let's make this very easy to understand what this question is all about. So what happened, this particular company, they pushed a faulty update. So there is a company and what it did, they pushed a faulty update, right? They push a faulty update globally. And what happened, all system crashed. Because of that, all system crashed. Right, so that's called BSOD everywhere. This causes BSOD everywhere. Now ideally they should simply restore from a clean backup, but here is the real failure. Here is the real failure. What is the real failure? The real failure is that the backup their backup system was also synchronized with the corrupted update. Right, the real failure was that backup system was also synchronized with the corrupted update. This is the real failure, meaning even their backup become useless. Right, backup also become useless. So this clearly show that backup and disaster recovery policy was weak. Right, it clearly indicate that backup and disaster recovery policy was weak or poorly implemented. It was weak or poorly implemented. So remember, a proper DR policy always include 3-2-1 backup rule. So there is a rule that is called 3-2-1 backup rule. So what is the meaning of 3? 3 means 3 copies of data. 3 copies of data. 2 means 2 different storage type. 2 different storage types. 1 means 1 copy kept offline. 1 copy kept offline or offsite. Right, that is called 3-2-1 backup rule. Okay, so 3 means 3 copies of data, 2 means 2 different storage type, 1 means 1 copy kept offline or offsite. If they had an offline or air gapped backup, the corrupted update would not have touched it. Right, if they have offline or air gapped backup, so in that case corrupted update would not have touched it. They could have simply restored clean data and avoided the 48-hour global shutdown. Right, they could have simply restored clean data, right, and avoided the 48-hour global shutdown. So the root cause is the bad or inefficient DR planning. Now let's look at the option. Option number A says that acceptable using AUP. You know what is AUP? Let me explain. AUP is the policy what employee can or cannot do with a company system. That is called acceptance use policy. What employee cannot do or can do with the company system, like browsing rule is there, whether they can browse or not. So browsing rule, misuse, etc. That is called AUP. It has nothing to do with the global software update or disaster recovery, right? It has nothing to do with the global software update. Now, second thing, so first is the acceptable use policy. So second thing is the cloud governance policy. So this manages cloud vendor use. When I say cloud governance policy, you know what does it mean? It means it manages the cloud vendor usage, permission, cost optimization, right, etc. That is called cloud vendor usage. And even perfect cloud governance cannot protect you from a corrupted internal update. Then we have the BYOD policy. BYOD stands for bring your own device. Bring your own device. So this deals with employee bringing personal laptop and phone. The problem here happened on company owned endpoint, not personal device. So this is not the correct answer. This is not the correct answer. This is the correct answer is backup and disaster recovery policy. So when I say disaster recovery, it means if today fails, you should be able to go back to yesterday, right? That is the meaning of disaster recovery. If today fails, you should be able to go back to yesterday, right? And remember, for that, this rule which I told you, 3-2-1 rule is very essential. 3-2-1, 3 copies of data, at least one backup must be offline. 3 copies of data, 2 different storage types, and 1 keep offline. So at least 1 copy must be kept offline. And one more thing is that they never think that synchronization is backup. No, synchronization is not backup, right? Syncing speed corruption, no, but backup isolated. And then we have the DR failure, disaster recovery failure. It is inability to do point in time recovery. You are not able to do. Friends, the next question is, during a criminal investigation, the police recover a discarded mobile phone without a SIM card. To trace the service subscriber who last used the device, the investigator requested the network service provider for logs. So which unique 15-digit identifier is stored in the home location register used by the network to uniquely identify the user rather than the hardware? IMEI, IMSI, ICCID, and MAC address. Very good question. Let's break down the question. Basically, the police has found physical mobile phone, but the SIM card is missing. There is no SIM card, right? There is no SIM card. Now the service provider needs to identify who was using the phone last time. For this, the network check its database, and the database is called HLR. HLR called home location register. HLR is called home location register. Inside the HLR, the network stored a very important number that is called IMSI, which is called International Mobile Subscriber Identity, right? That is called IMSI, International Mobile Subscriber Identity. You know about it. This is a 15-digit unique number, and it represents the subscriber. It represents the subscriber. It means the customer. Subscriber means the customer. It does not represent the mobile phone. It represents the subscriber. It never represents the mobile phone. So whenever what happen, whenever a phone connect to the cellular network, suppose what happen, whenever a phone it connect to the cellular network, right? So it does not first tell the network that I am this phone. Instead, it tells the network. The phone is contacting to a cellular network. It does not tell that I am the phone. It tells that this is my subscriber identity. It tells that this is my subscriber identity, right? So that identity is called IMSI. So using the IMSI, the service provider can find the customer mobile number, their billing plan, their last known location, their call, SMS, data record. That's why the correct answer to this question is IMSI. B is the correct answer. What about vehicle charges number? It identifies the handset. it is not the subscriber, right? So please understand, we should understand each and every option, right? So IMEI, it is just, it identify the handset. It will tell you that, okay, this handset is particularly what. If you remove your SIM, suppose you remove your SIM and put this into another phone, so what happen, IMEI will change. Fine. So but IMSI remains the same. IMSI remains the same, because that depends on the handset, because since you have changed the handset, so IMEI will change, but IMSI remains the same. What about ICCID? ICCID, that this is just a serial number printed on the SIM card, right? So on every SIM card there is a serial number printed, and it identifies the SIM as an object. Fine. It does not identify the SIM as a subscriber account, so this is also wrong. IMEI is also wrong. What about the MAC address? So MAC address, it is used for identifying the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth hardware. So Wi-Fi or Bluetooth hardware, it is used for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth communication. It has nothing to do with the cellular subscription identification. So the correct answer is option B only. So what we learned from this discussion is that, IMEI, IMEI is, it is the hardware, right? This is called International Mobile Equipment Identifier. This is the device, this is the handset. Then IMSI, just now we have talked about, IMSI is the, International Mobile Subscriber Identity. And it is a subscriber, it is the user, it identifies the subscriber, it identifies the user. So it's used for identification of the subscriber. It is used for identification of the hardware. ICCID is the integrated, circuit card ID. This is called integrated circuit card ID. This is the SIM card, right? This is basically the plastic SIM card. And MAC address is called, media access control address. Its full form is media access control address. This is the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or hardware. Fine. So the same thing has been summarized in this particular table. You can just go through it, right? So remember, one memory trick I can give you. You can remember this IMSI like I am subscriber identity. This way you can remember. I am subscriber identity. Fine, this way you can remember it. I am subscriber identity. So if it identify the subscriber, it must be IMSI. I hope everything is clear till now. Now have a look at the next question. So basically what is happening during the case of security audit, the consultant find that the company server are vulnerable to an injection attack. The company server is vulnerable to an injection attack. Why? Because their web application firewall is outdated. So in the information security language, what do we call the method or the route used by attacker to exploit this vulnerability? Right, threat attack, attack surface, threat vector, payload. Very good question. So what happened, during a security audit, the consultant find that the company server are vulnerable to an injection attack. Why it is vulnerable to an injection attack? Because their web application firewall is outdated, right? So what do we call it? Why do we call the method or route used by attacker to exploit the vulnerability? Threat, attack surface, threat vector, payload. Very good question, and let me explain each and every aspect. So let's understand this in very simple manner. So basically, when a hacker attack a system, suppose there is a hacker and this particular hacker, they attack a system. So 4 important things are involved. Who is attacking? Second, where can they enter from? Third, how do they enter? Fourth, what damage do they deliver? So the question is asking specifically about how the attacker exploited the vulnerability, right? How the attacker exploited the vulnerability. So the outdated web application firewall, it allow an injection attack. The outdated web firewall, it allow an injection attack. So let me give you an example of the injection attack. You might think of the SQL injection or command injection. So both are the kind of, injection attack. So now this method used to break in is what we call, threat vector. Please note this, fine. This is called, threat vector. So basically threat vector is the route. Threat vector is the pathway, right? That the attacker used to get inside the system. In this case, what is happening, the insider, the insecure web application. Obviously, this web application is insecure, right? So this insecure web application, it is the, it itself become the threat vector. This insecure web application become the threat vector, and the attacker use that weak point to cross the perimeter, right? Attacker use this weak point to cross the perimeter and attack the server. Fine. So the correct answer is the threat vector, C. What about option A, threat actor? You know threat actor. So threat actor is the who, right? Please understand. What is the meaning of threat actor? Threat actor is the who part. Means the person or entity performing the attack. Someone who is performing the attack. Right? That's called, you know, threat actor. It may be hacker, it may be inside employee, it may be cyber criminal group. But the question is not asking who. The question is asking how. This question is basically about how, not who. Option number B is the attack surface. So basically, you know, attack surface is the refers to all possible entry points. So what can be the possible entry point if we talk about the attack surface? So let me give you some example of the attack surface. Just wait a minute. So what can be the example of attack surface? So it can be the login page, it can be the APIs, it can be the open port, right? It can be database. So attack surface is the collection of all possible vector, right? All vectors combination, that's called attack surface. Then we have the last option, payload. C is the correct one, payload. You know what is payload? Payload is actually the malicious content. See why I'm explaining all the option, because you know in the upcoming examination you may get one question based on payload, one question based on threat actor. So understanding each and every aspect is very much important. So when we talk about the payload, this is actually the malicious content which is delivered. Fine. So you know, it may be ransomware, it may be, you know, a spyware, right? It may be virus, logic bomb. So payload is a damaging causing component. So here is the logical flow. What we learned from this discussion is that, let's have a look. So the logical flow is like this. Basically, first of all, we have the threat actor. Threat actor is the who aspect. Then after we identify the attack surface. Attack surface means where. This is the where aspect. Then after we choose a threat vector. Then after we choose a threat vector. Threat vector means how aspect. And then after we deliver the payload. We deliver the payload, that is what aspect. Fine. So who in this question, who is irrelevant? Where is the entire vulnerable environment? How? Yes, the question is about how. So the injection attack via the insecure web application, and that's called the threat vector. So one memory trick I can provide you so that you can remember it for a long time. This is the memory trick. You can think of the vector like, you know, vehicle, right? You can think of the vector like a vehicle. Just like a vehicle is the method you use to travel, similarly threat vector is the method that the attacker use, right, to enter into the system. So vector means vehicle, it means way inside the system. Easy to remember? Please hit the like button if you really think that this is adding value to your preparation. Now have a look at the next question. The next question is a very good question. Let's have a look. So basically what happened, you know, there is a company that suffered a data breach. Yes, this company suffered a data breach, right? Their proprietary source code stored on the cloud repository get leaked. So proprietary source code, right, get leakage of the proprietary source code. The forensic report shows that a former developer who left the company 6 months ago, right, basically was still able to log in because his admin credential were never disabled, right, because he was active. Now the question is, which security process failed here? Data encryption at rest, identity disprovisioning and offboarding, network segmentation, and cloud data residency policy. See, basically what happened, you know, in this case, there is an employee who left the organization 6 months ago, but the company forgot to disable his admin account. This means he still had the full access. Exactly before the resignation. So he used those still active credentials to download the company confidential source code from the cloud. Yes, he downloaded the company confidential source code from the cloud. So when an employee resigns or is terminated, organization must disable all the logins, must revoke all the permission, must revoke access from cloud system, must disconnect integration with HR system. So you know, if this does not happen, right, very important thing, if this does not happen, right, old user become insider threat. So what happened, you know, old user, they become the insider threat. So the real failure is, you know, offboarding. The real failure is offboarding and deprovisioning, right, process. Yes, what is the correct answer? B is the correct answer. So, or what about option A? That is data encryption at rest. So if you talk about the option A, so when I say encryption at the rest, it protects the data. If someone steal a hard disk, server, or physical storage device, right? So encryption protect the data. But if a user has a valid login credential, encryption is automatically bypassed. The system decrypt data for authorized user and his credential were still authorized. So encryption cannot stop this breach, because encryption protect the data. If someone steal a hard disk, server, or physical storage device, then encryption will protect the data. But if the user has a valid login credential, how it can protect? What about option C, network segmentation? What is the meaning of segmentation? Let me explain. So basically, what segmentation do? Segmentation prevent an attacker from moving sideways. It prevent an attacker from moving sideways across the network. That's called, lateral movement. It protect the lateral movement of the attacker. But here, the developer himself has the direct, he himself has the direct admin access. The developer himself has a direct admin access to the cloud repository itself. So no need for lateral movement. There is no need for lateral movement, right? He simply logged in normally with his admin credential. So here segmentation is irrelevant. What about cloud data residency policy? Yes, this policy deals with where the data is physically stored. This is the where aspect, country, religion, etc. or region. So it relates to the legal compliance, not the user access. So the key learning is that when I say this term deprovisioning means removing the access the moment an employee leave. So failure is that ex-employee admin account remain active, lead to data breach. Encryption cannot stop a user who has a valid credential. Network segmentation stop lateral movement, not direct access. And cloud residency data storage log is not access control. So basically, memory trick to remember it. Just let me give you memory trick. So remember, off means off, right? When an employee is offboarded, their access must be off immediately. If not, offboarding failure will be there. I hope everything is crystal clear till now. Friends, we have many questions. The complete mobile number, right? Complete mobile phone number, MEI, IMSI, actually, okay, ICC ID, MSIS DIN. So which do you think is correct? So if you look at the MEI, right, actually it is IMEI. Let me correct it. It is IMEI. So what is IMEI? That is called International Mobile Equipment Identity. International Mobile Equipment Identity. This is a unique number for your phone hardware, right? For every phone hardware, there is a unique number, like a fingerprint for the device itself. So if you lose your phone, this IMEI number help you track the device, not your phone number, right? It will help you track the device tracking, right? That's the point. So this is incorrect. Option A is incorrect. See, I am explaining each and every option. Why? Suppose in the next examination, IMEI question related to IMEI asked, so you can answer it quickly. That's why each and every option I will explain. Option number B say IMSI. What is IMSI? It stands for International Mobile Subscription Identity. Mobile Subscription Identity. So this is linked to your SIM card and identify you as a subscriber in the network. IMSI is linked to your SIM card and this identify you as a subscriber in the network. You can think of IMSI as your membership ID in the mobile network club. So it is not your phone number. Again, it is wrong. Option C, ICC ID. This is the integrated circuit card identifier. Basically the unique number printed on your SIM card. It identifies the SIM hardware. What is identified? It identifies the SIM hardware. So this is not the correct answer. Suppose if you look at your SIM card, you will see a long number. That is your ICC ID. Again, not the phone number. What about option D? Yes, this is the correct one. That this is the correct answer. MSSIDN stands for, let me write down the full form. Mobile Station International Subscriber Directory Number. So Mobile Station International Subscriber Directory Number, right? So it's a fancy name for your full mobile number, full mobile phone number used for call and message. The number you give your friend to call you, that is your MSISDN, right? So what we learned from this discussion is that, full form is Mobile Station International Subscriber Directory Number. It represents the full mobile number, like suppose 8808784878. So this is your MSSIDN, right? 10-digit number that you give to your one. IMEI is a unique identifier for the mobile device hardware. IMSI is the subscriber ID.
ICS ID is the SIM card ID. Please know all these things, because hopefully maybe in the next examination you might see a question on IMEI, so that you can answer it easily. Friends, if you are looking for a study material for this cyber security and fraud management examination, you can check out the description section of the video. I have provided the course link. Also, you can WhatsApp me on this particular number. We provide complete study material in the format of unit-wise theory, unit-wise MCQs, such kind of previous year memory-based question with detailed explanation. By going through the material, you can easily crack the examination in the very first go. Now let's see the next question. This is about some statements have been given. We have to answer which statement best describe a brute force attack in cyber security. Brute force attack they are talking about, right? Options they have given: an attack that use social engineering to trick user into revealing password. B, a method where attackers systematically try all possible password or key combination until the correct one is found. C, a technique that infects system with malware through phishing email. D, an approach that rely on exploiting software vulnerability without guessing credential. So if you look at the option number A, here the key point they have used is social engineering. You know what it means? Basically, it means tricking people into giving their password. You are tricking people that give me your password. Like, pretending to be a tech support. You pretend yourself to be a tech support. So that is not a brute force, right? Brute force is about guessing password, not manipulating human. This is all about, manipulation. So option A is wrong. What about option B? Yes, this is the correct one. Why? Because, brute force means attacker use trial and error. They try every possible password or every key until they find the right one. This is called, trial and error. Right. Let me give you one example. Imagine that you forget your phone pin, and you keep trying 000, 0001, 0002 until it unlocks. So hacker do the same, but with powerful software that can test million of password quickly, and that is called, brute force attack. What about option C? It talks about, phishing. This is called, phishing. Phishing means what? Sending fake email with malware link. Suppose you got a mail, right? And there is a link, which is a fake link, right? And this link contains malware. So that is a different attack method. This is incorrect. What about D? An approach that rely on exploiting software vulnerability. See, this says exploiting software bugs without guessing password. So that is called, that is called vulnerability exploitation, not the brute force. This is wrong. So what is the correct one? Correct one is option number B, right? So just remember this keyword. Brute force means what? Trial and error password guessing, right? It rely on trial and error. It rely on trial and error password guessing. And when we talk about social engineering, yes, now I told you, social engineering is what? Manipulation, human manipulation. So sometimes question may be asked, what is social engineering? So this means tricking the people. Then phishing, just I told you, malware via fake email, and exploiting bug is not the brute force. So think of the brute force like, keep trying until you fall freaker. Option A hacker who specializes in breaking into banking system. Option B, a person who hack telephone system, usually to make free call. Option C, a person who combine phone phreaking with computer hacking. Option D, a hacker who focuses on wireless network encryption. So what do you think? That's the question regarding phreaker. So option A, this says that hacker who break into banking system. That is not phreaker. That is more like a financial hacking or cyber criminal. So option A is wrong. What about B? So B is the correct one. Yes, this is the correct answer. Why? Because a phreaker is someone who hack telephone system, mainly to make free call or bypassing billing. Basically what he does, they basically hack the telephone system. Phreaker is someone who hack the telephone system. Why they hack the telephone system? To make free calls or to bypass the billing. Let me give you one example. For example, back in the old day, people use a special tone or a special device. What they use? People use a special tone or a special device to trick phone system, right? And avoid paying for call. To trick phone system and avoid paying for call. So that is the classic phreaking. What about option C? Option C describes, it describes fracker. See, fracker is different. Someone who mixes phone phreaking with computer hacking. It is similar but not the same term, so it is incorrect. What about D? A hacker who focus on wireless network encryption. So this talks about the wireless network encryption. That is more like a Wi-Fi hacker, right? This is more like a Wi-Fi hacker, not a phreaker. So this is also wrong. What's the correct one? Correct one is option number B. Basically, a phreaker hack telephone system usually to make free call. That's is called phreaker. So you can think of it, just way to remember it. Let me give you a simple way to remember. You can think of this, phreaker like, phone freak. Phone freak. Someone who play trick on phone system. That's called phreaker. And another word is fracker. Fracker. Who is fracker? Fracker is you combine phone hacking. You combine phone hacking with computer hacking. Two phone and computer hacking both combined, that's called fracker. And here is phreaker. Phreaker means phone freaking. Just wait to remember it. Now the question is, what does the term phishing refers to in cyber security? Very good question. Option A, sending fraudulent email to steal sensitive information. Option B, using fake website to capture login credential. Option C, attempting to obtain personal information through a phone call. Option D, infecting device with malware via SMS link. Now let's look at option number A. See, sending fraudulent email, just now I had discussed, that's called phishing. In the previous example we have discussed, you are sending fake email to trick you into giving password or clicking harmful link. That is not phishing, right? So that's wrong. Option B, basically using fake website to capture login credential. So that refers to fake website that look real to steal your login credential. Again, that is a different attack. That's called, spoofing. That is called website spoofing. Please know this term. They are super important. Spoofing means using fake website. What about option C? Option C is the correct answer. See, we are not only discussing the question and answer. We are discussing each and every option. And at the end of every question, I provide you a trick to remember the thing. So I request you to please watch the complete video. Obviously, it will help you retain the concept for a longer period. What about option C? Yes, this is the correct one. Why? Because, phishing stands for, voice phishing. Two words are there. Voice plus phishing. That is called, phishing. Right. Basically, it is when a scammer call you pretending to be from your bank or a trusted company and asks for a sensitive detail like your customer ID, ATM pin, OTP, CVV, card expiry date. So you get a call saying that your account will be blocked unless you share your OTP. That is called phishing. Voice plus phishing is equal to phishing. What about D? D says, this is infecting device with malware. This is called smishing. Smishing means, phishing through SMS. So whenever you are, phishing have different type. Smishing type of phishing type of phishing. Phishing means V for voice. Smishing means S for SMS. Right? So remember the keywords. Let me highlight. So remember, phishing means voice phishing. Just let me highlight it. This is called voice phishing. Phishing via email. Right? Phishing via email. That's fake email. Then smishing. Smishing means SMS phishing. And I hope it is clear. So remember the V word in the V stands for voice. That's it. That's why you can remember. Now, question is, what does cyber extortion typically involve? Option A, hacker offering free security service to the organization, threatening or launching repeated attack like denial of service to demand money, encrypting file for backup purposes without consent, sending stolen data on the dark web without contacting the victim. So what do you think? What is cyber extortion? So option A says that, hacker offer free security service. It sounds nice. But that is not cyber extortion. Hacker don't help for free, right? They demand money. Option A is wrong. Option B is the correct answer. Correct. Cyber extortion means, hacker threatens or carry out attack. Like, denial of service, DOS. And what hacker do, Hacker demand. Hacker demand what? Money to stop it. Imagine your company's website is under attack. And hacker say, pay us or we will keep shutting you down. That's called cyber extortion. Right? Pay us or we will keep shutting you down. Option B is correct one. What about C? C talks about, encrypting file for backup process without consent. So backup are normal, but doing that without permission is not extortion. Backup is normal, but if you are doing it without permission, that's not extortion. That is more like, ransomware. This is more like, ransomware, right? If they demand payment later. So this is incorrect. What about D? Selling stolen data on the dark web without contacting the victim. This says, selling stolen data. That is a crime, but it's not extortion. Because extortion, so cyber extortion means two things. First of all, threat plus ransom demand. It is a combination of two things. Threat plus ransom. Right? Common method is through, denial of service attack or ransomware. Ransomware is another way of, this cyber extortion. So extortion, you can think of extra money through threat. That is what extortion is all about. Now, what is the next question? What is the main advantage of 2D barcode as compared to traditional 1D barcode? So this question revolves around 2D barcode. Options they have given. it uses only vertical line for encoding data. B, it stores significantly more information by encoding data. It cannot include error correction feature. It requires a large physical space for the same amount of data. So option A says, this says 2D barcode use only vertical line. Actually, that is what 1D barcode do. This black stripe you see on the product, 2D barcode use both the directions. So this is wrong. What about B? This is the correct answer. 2D barcode, what it do? It's just like a QR code, right? They store data horizontally and they store data vertically. That means they can hold thousands of characters, not just a few digits. Like a QR code can store a full website link, while a 1D barcode can only store a product number. What about C? This says 2D barcode cannot include error correction. That is incorrect, because they actually have a strong error correction. 2D barcode has actually a strong error correction. If any part of the QR code is damaged, it can still be scanned. What about D? This says 2D barcode need more space. Actually, they need less space for the same amount of data because they pack information in 2 dimensions. So this is wrong. Actually, 2D barcode need less space for the same amount of data. Why? Because they pack data in the 2 dimensions. So what is the correct answer? Correct answer is option number B. It stores significantly more information by encoding data both horizontally and vertically. So just remember, whenever we talk about 1D barcode, that is only vertical line. 1D barcode is vertical line, limited data. We talk about 2D barcode, that is horizontal plus vertical line. It stores thousands of characters. That's the difference, right? So 2D means 2 direction, horizontal and vertical mode for including the more data. Some example they have given like QR code, data matrix, PDF 417, right? That is the example. Now the question is, what statement best describe insider threat in cyber security? So options are a risk posed only by external hacker targeting an organization network, a risk from individual within an organization who misuse authorized access intentionally or unintentionally, a type of malware that infect internal server without human involvement, a phishing attack launched from outside the organization. What do you think? A, B, C or D? What is insider threat? If you look at the option number A, it says that insider threat comes from external hacker. That is not true. External hacker are outsider, not insider. Right? Wrong. What about B? B is the correct one. B is the correct answer. Because insider threat come from people inside the organization. It may be employee. It may be a contractor, employee, contractor, partner, employee, contractor, partner who already have the access. They might misuse the data on purpose. That is called malicious insider, or by mistake they do it. That is called negligent insider. See, 2 types are there. This is the 2 types. One is called malicious insider. That means they deliberately do it. And second is called accidentally they do it. By mistake they do it. That's called negligent insider. For example, suppose there is an employee who is leaking confidential data intentionally or accidentally clicking a harmful link. That's it. What about option C? Option C say a type of malware that infect internal server without human involvement. So basically, this is talking about malware. That is a cyber attack, but not insider threat, because insider threat involve people, not just software. What about D? A phishing attack launched from outside the organization. That's a phishing. That is wrong. So remember, what we learned from this question is that, so whenever we talk about the insider threat, just remember, it is a human risk. It is a kind of human risk from within. It can be intentional or it can be accidental. External hacker and phishing are not insider. Right? These are the key points that we must keep in the mind. Now the next question is, what is the primary function of a SCADA system? Option A, to design industrial machinery. Option B, to gather real-time data from remote location and control industrial process. Option C, to replace sensor and programmable logic controller in the plant. Option D, to provide cyber security for industrial work only. So what do you think about SCADA? That's the question, right? So option A says SCADA design industrial machinery. That is not true. That is not true. Why? Because SCADA does not design anything. Basically what SCADA do, SCADA monitors, right? SCADA control. SCADA monitor and control the process. What about B? Yes, B is the correct one. Why? Because SCADA stands for, let me tell you the full form of SCADA, supervisory control and data acquisition. Let me highlight it. You can see supervisory control and data acquisition. That is called SCADA. So basically what it does, it collect, data from remote sites. So basically we have some remote sites. and from where data are collected by the SCADA, right? Real-time data, right? It collects real-time data from remote site and let the operator monitor and control the industrial process. For example, in a power plant, SCADA shows temperature, pressure, flow on the screen and allow engineers to adjust valve or start pump remotely. That's the role of SCADA, right? Real-time data from remote location. Option number C, to replace sensor and programmable logic control in the plant. So, SCADA replace sensor with PLC. Actually, SCADA work with sensor and PLC. It does not replace them. Replacement word is wrong. To provide cyber security, no. SCADA only provide, basically SCADA system needs security. Their main job is, process control. The main job of SCADA is, process control, right? Not just security. So it is wrong. So remember, correct answer is option number B, right? SCADA means supervisory control and data acquisition, collect real-time data from remote sites, allow monitoring and control of industrial process. So you can think of a SCADA like this: C plus control plus data. This is called SCADA. S as C for control and DA for data. C, control, data. You see the data and control the process. That's it. So some data will be shown in the front of your screen, and based on those data, you control the process. That's called SCADA. Okay, I hope it is clear now. Now friends, question is, which of the following statements about, a payment system operator in India is correct? Options are: PSO in India operate without any regulatory oversight. PSO like PhonePe, Razorpay, Paytm are authorized by RBI. PSO only provide UPI service and cannot offer card payment or wallet. The self-regulatory PSO association, that's called SRPA, is managed directly by RBI. So, option A says wrong. Option A is wrong. Why? Because, this is wrong because imagine if anyone could start a payment app without rule. It will be chaotic. A scam, no security. So RBI regulate PSO to protect the customer. Option B. Yes, this is the correct one. RBI give license to this company after checking their system, security and compliance. Right. So your money is handled with RBI watch. Option C. This is wrong. PSO are versatile. Right. PSO, PSO, payment system operator, they are versatile. Right. And they offer UPI. They offer UPI, card payment, wallet payment. Right. They offer UPI, card payment, wallet payment, gateway, and even POS machine. For example, Paytm let you pay via UPI, debit card, credit card, wallet. So option C is wrong. Option D, the self-regulated PSO association is managed directly by RBI. This is wrong. If you talk about the SRPA, it stands for self-regulated PSO association. It is an industry body formed by PSO themselves, not by RBI. They make guideline for member, but RBI is the main regulator. So what are the key points? Let me highlight. Remember, PSO are regulated by RBI. Who regulate them? RBI regulate them. They offer multiple kind of services: UPI, card, wallet, gateway, X, everything. And if we talk about the SRPO, just remember it. If we talk about the SRPA, SRPA is self-regulated, right? That's why S is there. Self-regulated industry association is not run by RBI. Now, the next question is BPSS. What does BPSS primarily to achieve? Okay, so let's skip this particular question. Now let's see the next one. I think this is repeated. Okay, let's skip this. Okay, what is the main purpose of rootkit in the computer system? They are talking about the rootkit, right? What option they have given? So ever heard of the rootkit? To improve system performance by optimizing process, to provide attacker with privileged access while hiding their presence, to block malware from entering the system, to encrypt user data for secure storage. What is a rootkit? Let me talk about it. So whenever we talk about rootkit, it is a kind of burglar. It is a kind of burglar who not only break into your house, he break into your house, but also hide in the attic. They also hide in the attic, so you never know that there is there. It give attacker. So friends, option A is wrong because rootkit does not make your computer faster. They make it vulnerable, right? So option A say to improve system performance. No, that's wrong. Option B, provide attacker with privileged access while hiding their presence. Correct. Rootkit are stealthy. They hide the files. They hide the processes. They hide even network activity, right? They can disable antivirus, so you don't notice anything wrong. Think of it like invisible cloak for hacker. That's why I told you they are like a burglar who not only break into your house but also hide in the attic, so you never know that there is there. It give attacker high level access, often admin or kernel level. What about option C? It to block malware from entering the system. No. Rootkit or malware themselves, they not block it. Option D, to encrypt user data for a secure storage. See, encryption is a good thing for security. Rootkit don't do that. They are all about secret control, not the protection. So correct answer is B. Just remember, rootkit is what? Rootkit is a hidden attacker access. Right, just one word. Hidden attacker access. It gives hacker admin level control and hide from detection. It does not improve performance. It block malware and encrypt the data. So this way you can remember the rootkit. Let me just tell you. Rootkit. This way you can remember. Rootkit is equal to root access plus hidden kit. Two way to remember. Root access plus hidden kit. Next question we have. What does so you can think of a imagine you hide a cleaner, but they secretly copy your house key and live in your basement without you knowing. That is what a rootkit does to your computer. What does CISA certification primarily signify for professional? Option A, expertise in software development and coding. Option B, global standard for auditing, control and security of IT and business system. Option C, specialization in cloud hosting and infrastructure. Option of infrastructure management. Option D, certification for ethical hacking and penetration testing. Very good question it is. It's talking about CISA, right? So what do you think? Let's look at the, first of all, the full form of CISA. It stands for Certified Information System Auditor, right? Let me write it down. Certified Information System Auditor. Certified Information System Auditor, right? It's a globally recognized certification issued by, who issued it? ISACA, globally recognized certification. If you hold CISA, it means you are an expert in auditing, controlling, securing IT and business system. Organization trusts CISA professional to keep their system safe and compliant. What about option A? Expertise in software development and coding. What do you think? This is wrong. CISA is not just about writing code or building app. It's about checking the system. Option B is correct, right? Because think of CISA professional like, IT auditor. You can think of them like, IT auditor, right? So you know the role of IT auditor. So they review the system, they find the risk, they ensure that everything meets security standard. What about C? A specialization in cloud hosting and infrastructure. See, cloud management is a different field. CISA cover auditing and security, not hosting server. And last option they have given, certification for ethical hacking and penetration testing. That is wrong. Ethical hacking certification are different, right? So just remember the full form of CISA, certified, let me highlight it, Certified Information System Auditor, right? Global benchmark for IT auditing, right? It is like a benchmark for IT auditing. It's not about coding. It's not about coding, not about cloud hosting, etc. It check IT system accurately. That's it. Now the question is, then we have the match the following type question. Let me see match the following type question. Yeah, this one. On one side they have mentioned control. On the other side they have mentioned description. The control they have mentioned preventive, detective, corrective. And option they have given applied after fraud is detected, implemented to stop fraud before it occurs, used to identify fraud when preventive measure fail. So you have to match the following. So let's talk about the preventive control first. You know what it means? So these are like, seat belt in a car. You might have seen the seat belt. These are like, seat belt in a car, right? You wear them to prevent injury before an accident. Yes, you wear this seat belt. Why? To prevent the injury before an accident happens. For example, a strong password, two-factor authentication, restricting access, right? So it will be linked to implemented to stop fraud before it occurs. So one will be linked to B. What about option 2, detective control? Think of a CCTV camera. CCTV camera. They don't stop theft, but they help you catch it. Example like, audit, reconciliation and monitoring system. So 2 is linked to, used to identify fraud. C. What about 3? Corrective control. Yes. This is applied after fraud is detected to fix or mitigate the impact. So this is like, calling a mechanic after your car breakdown, like disciplinary action, patching a system, changing a process to prevent future issue. So 3 is linked to A. 1B, 2C, 3A. Remember, preventive means you stop the fraud before it happens. Like password you can use, changing the password, access control. Detective means find fraud after it happened, like audit and monitoring. Corrective means fix the damage after the fraud is detected, right? So just one way to remember it, let me tell you, stop, spot, and solve, right? Preventive is stop, detective means spot, and solving means corrective means solve. That's it. I hope that makes sense. I hope it is clear now. Right. Now the question is, what is the primary role of ethical hacking in cybersecurity? As an ethical hacker, right? What is the role of the ethical hacker? Option A, to exploit vulnerability for financial gain, to identify and fix security weakness with authorization, to develop malware for penetration testing, and option D, to monitor user activity without consent. What do you think? Option A means, hacking into the system to steal money or data for personal benefit. Like a hacker break into a bank system and transfer money to their account. That is what, black hat hacker. There are different kinds of hacking, This is the kind of, black hat hacker. Question may be asked, what is black hat hacker? This is exactly what black hat hacker is all about. Right? So A is wrong. What about B? Yes, this is the correct one. This is the correct answer. That is called white hat hacker. And that white hat hacker is also called, ethical hacker. Why? Because ethical hacker, also called white hat hacker, they work legally and with permission. Suppose a company hires an ethical hacker to test its website for loopholes. If they find a weak spot, they report it and help fix it. Their goal is to make the system safer. What about C? To develop malware for penetration testing. That means spying on people secretly. That is illegal. That is unethical. Right? Ethical hacker always work with permission and follow the rules. To monitor user activity without consent. No, that is wrong. So ethical hacker are, white hat hacker. Right? So they work legally with permission. Their job is to find and fix security weakness. That's their role. Now the next question is, which of the following were introduced by the Information Technology Amendment Act 2008? Very good question. 2008 there was a Technology Amendment Act. What were introduced? Option A, removal of government power to monitor electronic communication. Option B, establishment of CERTIN as a national agency for cyber security. Option C, limiting penalties for cyber offense to a maximum of 1 year imprisonment. Option D, restricting the definition of communication device to desktop computer only. If you look at the option number A, this means government cannot monitor email, chat or online activity. But the truth is, the amendment gave the government more power. This particular amendment gave the government more power, not less. For national security, the government can encrypt or decrypt the message. Option A is wrong. What about B? B is the correct answer. Yes, CERTIN. Question may be asked. That's called, Computer Emergency Response Team India. It is like, like a fire brigade for cyber attack. Like suppose if there is a big hacking attempt on Indian bank, CERTIN will step in to handle it and prevent the damage. What about C? Limiting penalty for cyber offense to a maximum of 1 year imprisonment. This sounds like a law becomes soft. So option they have given you, using encrypted identifier inside a data matrix code for the product authentication. Option B, scanning a QR code on a public poster that redirect the user to a phishing site. Option C, printing unique serialized code on the pharmaceutical for anti-counterfeiting. Option D, recovering data from a partially damaged data matrix code due to error correction. Now, which represent the represent the misuse of the matrix code? So, first of all, what happened? Let me explain what this matrix can take the user to a fake phishing website. Right? It can take user to the fake phishing website, a page that steal the login detail. So this is a page that steal the login detail, and this can also be a malware affected link. Right? It can also be a malware affected link or a credential harvesting form. So in short, we can say the user think that they are scanning something harmless, but the attacker secretly redirect them into a cyber trap. Now let's look at the option. First of all, option number A, using encrypted identifier inside a data matrix code for a product authentication. So here the keyword they have mentioned is, encrypted identifier. What do you think about it? So actually, this encrypted identifier is a legitimate security practice. Yes, it is a legitimate security practice. Right? Companies use encrypted code to protect product identity. Nothing wrong here. What about option B? Yes, I think this is the correct one. So this is, matrix code, misuse of the matrix code. So scanning a QR code on a public poster that redirect the user to a phishing site. Correct one. What about option C? Option C is saying, printing unique serialized code on the pharmaceutical for anti-counterfeiting. So this is the point is serialized code on pharmaceutical. What do you think about it? Or you can say medicine. This serialized code help track and verify product to prevent fake or counterfeit good. Yes, through this you can prevent the fake or counterfeit goods. So this is a good security, right? So this is not the correct answer, obviously. And what about D? Recovering data from a partially damaged data matrix code due to error correction. So here the key point, the key point is error correction. What do you think about it? Data matrix code are designed to be read even if partially damaged. So this is a normal technical feature, not the misuse. So here the question is all about misuse. So option D is a normal practice, normal technical feature, not a misuse. So the correct answer to this question is option number B. So remember, this is a way. Let me tell you a way to remember it. Suppose a QR code takes you to a known source. Suppose you scan a QR code and you are redirected to a known source, right? So what does it mean? It means that is quite safe. And suppose the QR code takes you to unknown source. The QR code takes you to unknown source, that that is danger, right? That is quite danger. It takes to you unknown source, that is a danger. Please remember it. Now, so what we learn from this question? Let me explain. So basically, misuse happen when attacker hide malicious link inside the QR code. Redirecting user to phishing or malware is called cyber threat. Legitimate uses like authentication, tracking, error correction. This is not a misuse. And therefore, option B is the best example of misuse. Option B is the best example of misuse, right? Now, I hope this is clear now. Let's see the second question. The second question is, which of the following statements, some statement have been given to you, which of the following statement is not correct? What are the statement? RBI issue license for payment bank in India based on approval from BPSS. NTRO stand for National Technical Research Organization. NETR, the lightweight UAV was developed by DRDO. Payment bank in India are allowed to issue credit card. So see, there are 4 different concepts, 4 different options. So let's quickly understand all the 4 statements one by one. What do you think about option number A? So Reserve Bank of India gives out license for the payment bank. Yes, obviously it give out this RBI this give out license for payment bank, but RBI don't do this alone, right? To do this it take approval from BPSS. Now you may ask me, what is this BPSS? So BPSS is Board for Regulation and Supervision. Board for Regulation and Supervision of Payment and Settlement System. Let me write it on here. So whenever I say BPSS, remember the full form. This is the board. Board for what? Board for Regulation. Board for Regulation and Supervision and Board for Regulation and Supervision of Payment and Settlement System. That's called BPSS, right? So yes, option number A I think is correct. What about option B? It says NTRO stand for National Technical Research Organization. What do you think? Yes, obviously this is the India's technical intelligence. Yes, option B is also correct. What about C? It says NETR was developed by DRDO. Yes, this is the lightweight ultra. What is UAV? UAV full form is unmanned aerial vehicle. This is called unmanned aerial vehicle, and this was developed combinedly by DRDO plus Idea Force. Please note it down. It was combinedly developed by DRDO plus Idea Force together, and it is used for surveillance and disaster response. What about option D? Payment bank in India allowed to issue credit card? No, that's wrong. Because payment bank cannot issue credit card. Because why? So what they can do? Yes, they can accept the deposit. What they can do? They can accept the deposit. Or what they can do? They can provide remittance and payment facility. They can issue the debit card, right? They can offer UPI. They can offer online banking. So these are the things that payment bank can do, but they are strictly not allowed to credit card to issue the credit card. So correct answer is option number D, because the question is not correct, right? Not correct. So option number D is the correct one. So remember, payment bank can pay, but they can't loan or they can't credit. So what we learned from this discussion is that BPSS approved payment bank license, correct. NTRO full form, that is National Technical Research Organization, correct. NETR UAV by DRDO plus Idea Forge, correct. Payment bank cannot issue credit card, correct. Friends, if you are looking for such kind of previous year memory based question in the form of PDF for this entire year, starting from February 2025 till now, it has been 6 to 7 examination. So what I have done, I have created a folder, I have created a course. The course name is Cyber Security and Fraud Management course. you can WhatsApp me on this particular number, and in that course you will get unit-wise theory, unit-wise MCQs as per the syllabus prescribed by the IIBF. Along with that, in addition to that, you get such kind of memory based question. There are separate 6 to 7 PDF files which you can download and you can take print, and if you go through those questions, obviously each PDF consists of 30 to 40 questions. So almost you can see there are next question आप देख सकते हैं, you can see the next question on your screen. Which option best shows the evidence of actual data theft and not just a security anomaly? So option they have given that old order privilege login with a spike in access log but no proof of leaked customer record externally. Option B, large outbound transfer plus leaked customer PII found on the public external site. Option C, temporary antivirus disablement during update with registry edit noted but no external data exposure. Option D, monthly end traffic surge and admin tool alert noted, internal review so no data appearing outside. So the first thing is you should know what is the meaning of this term, so called evidence of actual data theft, and then only you can answer it. Let me explain. So let me explain the layman term so that you can understand it very easily. So whenever we say that, whenever we talked about the actual data theft, right, here the keyword is actual data theft. So whenever we talk about the actual data theft, two things must be present. First thing is that data must leave the organization. Data must leave the organization. This is the first thing. And second thing is that you have to prove that. You should have proof that data is now outside. Yes, you have to prove that data is now outside. These two things are super important. So actual data thief happen when two things must be present. Data must leave the organization and you have to prove that data is now outside. So in one word we can say, right, in single word we can say this is called this is called exfiltration. Right, this is called exfiltration, and the second thing is called external appearance. This is called external appearance. Right. So let's see the correct answer to this particular question. So actual data theft, when we talk about actual data theft, two things must be present. First thing is data leaving the organization. Second thing is the proof that data is now outside. Now let's come back to this particular question. Let's look at option number A first. Option number A says the keyword here, let me highlight it, that is odd hour privilege login. That is suspicious. Obviously that is suspicious. But yes, it could be malicious also. Yes, it could be malicious also. Plus, but there is no proof that data leaked externally. Is there any proof written that data leaked externally? The answer is no. So it is an anomaly. Right? It is an anomaly. Right? It is not a confirmed theft. Confirmed theft. You cannot say that theft has happened. Because data is not leaving. There is no proof that data is leaked externally. That's why this is an anomaly and not confirmed theft. Now what about option B? Option B, if you look at, that says let me highlight clear evidence of theft. Let me see. Yes, this scenario has two dangerous indicators. First is that large outbound transfer, clearly written, large outbound transfer. What does it mean? So it means data was sent outside the organization. Plus customer PII name. What is the meaning of PII? See, PII means three things. First thing is the name, second thing is the account number, third thing is the PAN. Right? It was found publicly on an external website. It was found on a public external site. So these two things clearly indicate this combination give direct, undeniable proof that data was stolen and data was published. Yes, it is a clear proof that data was stolen and data was published. So this combination give direct, undeniable proof that data was stolen and published. This is exactly what investigator called confirmed exfiltration. Right? So option B is the correct answer. This is the actual data theft. Now let's look at option number C. It's talking about antivirus disablement. You can see antivirus disablement and registry edit. Two things are there. So this shows someone may be trying to tamper with the system, but still no evidence that data left the organization. No external appearance of confidential information. So again, it is not a data theft. So option C is also not a data theft. Right? Now the next point we have option number D. What about option number D? It says month end surge and alert. Two words are there. Let me highlight it. Month end traffic surge and alert. Tool alert. So month end activity naturally cause high traffic, extra log alert, extra tools activity. And internal review also say that no data seen outside. So this is a kind of normal load. Right? Let me write it down. This is a kind of normal load. Right? This is not a theft. So what we learned from the discussion is that no data outside, no theft. Just remember this keyword. if no data outside, it means no theft, right? So data should be outside. That is the evidence of, theft. So let's quickly revise the keyword which we have covered here. First thing is that, data theft need outbound movement plus external proof, right? It need outbound movement. It need external proof. Second point, only option number B shows both big transfer plus leaked customer data on the public side, right? So I hope this is clear now. Friends, if you really think that this video is adding value to your preparation, please hit that like button. Now let's switch over to question number 3. This is a unique type of question which I have created called fill in the blank type MCQs based question. This will cover 2 to 3 more concepts. Now let's have a look at the question. The question says, section 66 of the IT Act 2000 deals with dash use of the other person electronic signature, password or unique ID is a dash offense and carry a punishment of up to dash plus fine up to dash. So option they have given fraudulent, dishonest, right? Cognizable 3 years and 1 lakh. Negligent, accidental, non-cognizable 3 6 months 10,000. Unauthorized but not dishonest, compoundable 1 year 25,000. Unintentional, then they have written bailable and 2 year 50,000. What do you think? Very good question it is. So when we talk about the section number 66, it is all about, identity misuse in the digital world. Let me write it down. Let me highlight it, the keyword that we have, right? So here we are talking about the section number 66. What is the meaning of section number 66? It is the identity misuse in the digital world. Let me write it down. Identity misuse in the digital world. It applies when someone fraudulently, dishonestly use another person. Suppose someone fraudulently, right, or someone dishonestly, right, what they are doing, they are using other person electronic signature, using other person password, using other person biometric, right, fraudulently using other person biometric or using other person login credential, right? Basically, if someone use your digital identity without permission and with a dishonest intention, then in that particular case section 66 will apply. Two things I am telling you, again I am highlighting. First thing is, someone is using your digital identity without permission. First thing is without permission, and the second thing is, with a dishonest intent. Dishonest intent. If two things are there, then in that case it clearly indicate, section number 66 will apply, right? Now first of all have a look. So section 66 of the IT Act deals with dash. So what do you think? Yes, it is a cognizable offense. This means, what is the meaning of this cognizable? Please remember, it is a cognizable offense. Cognizable means, you can fill FIR directly. You can fill FIR directly. We can be arrested without warrant, right? Arrest without warrant. And the third thing is that, you can start, investigation will start immediately. Investigation immediately. So this highlights the seriousness of the digital identity theft. And if we talk about the punishment, so have a look. Imprisonment up to 3 years, jail up to 3 years, and fine up to 1 lakh. Right, fine up to 1 lakh. Now let's have a look at the option. Option number 1 say fraudulent, dishonest, cognizable, 3 years, 1 lakh. Yes, exactly. This is the correct one. Right. Option number B says, negligent or accidental. No. Section 66 requires dishonest intention, not negligence. So punishment value also not match because it says 6 month punishment. No, that's wrong. What about option C? Option C is not about casual unauthorized use. It is specifically require, fraudulent, dishonest uses. So option C is also incorrect. What about option D? So remember, offense is never unintentional, right? Imprisonment and fine amount are also wrong. So we have the correct answer, option number A, right? So let me give you a trick to remember this particular concept. So there is a trick you can use to remember it. You can write it like this. 66C is C. C for what? C for credential. C for credential. So if someone steal or misuse your credential, 66C will hit directly, right? Or even simpler, you can remember it like this. If you have dishonest ID use, so then 3 year plus 1 lakh fine. 3 year jail, 1 lakh fine, right? So let's quickly recap the key point which we have covered here. So we have talked about section 66, which is a misuse of someone else's digital identity. It need fraudulent and dishonest intention. It is a cognizable offense. Punishment is up to 3 year jail and 1 lakh fine. Please remember these keywords. These are super important. Now friends, let's switch our focus to the next question that we have. The next question that we have is again 66F, right? So section number 66F of the IT Act. Let's have a look. So it punishes dash act through computer resource, including denial of access or penetration into dash system, and cover theft of restricted state security data to harm dash. This offense is dash and carry imprisonment for life plus fine. They are the option they have given: cyber terror, critical infrastructure, sovereignty, public order, cognizable and non-bailable. Right. Similarly, they have given you 4 options. Right. Now let's have a look. Section number 66F. What does it say? So friends, you know that section 66F is one of the most serious section of the IT Act. It deals with cyber terrorism. Right. This section number 66F, it deals with cyber terrorism. It deals with cyber terrorism, which means attack done using computer or network that threatens India's security, sovereignty or critical system. Right. So some attack which is done that threaten India's security, India's sovereignty and critical system. Now let's break down each and every blanks. So the first one, the option they have given: cyber terror, minor cyber misuse, accidental access and basic IT violation. Actually, this is a kind of cyber terror. Yes, here you will feel cyber terror. Why? Because section 66F is triggered when someone use computer or network for terror like attack. So when this particular section is triggered, suppose someone is using computer for what? Someone is using computer for terror like act. What can be the terror like act? So terror like act can be attempting to destabilize the country, threatening national security, attacking essential service. That's called. So blank number 1 is cyber terror. What about blank number 2? So the option they have given for blank number 2 is critical infrastructure, routing banking, public website and open source network. What do you think? So penetration into what? So actually critical infrastructure system. Yes, this section cover attack like let me give you some example of the attack which are covered under this section. You might have heard of DUS, denial of access, right? Then unauthorized penetration, right? You are not authorized and you are penetrating, or injecting malware. You are injecting malware. All these are covered under the section 66F. So these attacks usually target critical infrastructure. So what you might have what is the meaning of critical infrastructure? Like power grid. Yes, critical infrastructure include power grid, like core banking system, CBS, right? Then telecom, defense network, payment system. So blank 2 is all about critical infrastructure. Then the third blank, to harm what? So obviously to harm the sovereignty and public order. Yes, please remember, let me name a section. So section number 66, subsection 66F, subsection 1B, right? It is specifically include theft of restricted or state security information, right? Restricted or state security information, right? So when it is used to harm India's sovereignty, national integrity, public order. And what about the last blank we have? So last blank is this offense is dash. So cognizable and non-bailable, bailable and compoundable, non-cognizable and petty, and bailable and civil only. What do you think? Since this is a cyber terrorism offense, so it is treated exactly like any serious terror offense. Obviously it is cognizable, right? This is a cognizable, non-bailable. Bail is not automatic, and punishment for life plus fine, right? So option number blank number 4 is cognizable and non-bailable. So option number A satisfy all these conditions, right? So this way you can remember it. So now let me quickly summarize the key point which we have learned. So this way you can remember F for you can remember freedom attack, right? Freedom attack. So if a cyber act threaten the freedom, sovereignty or security of the country, it goes straight under 66F. This way you can remember, right? Critical infrastructure plus cyber terror is life imprisonment. So just now we talked about section 66F. This deal with the cyber terrorism. It target the critical infrastructure and it harm the sovereignty or the public order. Offense is cognizable and non-bailable. Punishment is life imprisonment and fine. So the correct answer to this question is obviously option number A. Now friends, have a look at the next one. So the next question is, which of the following about the Lebanese loop attack at ATM is not correct? You have to print out, if there are 4 options they have given, which is not correct regarding Lebanese loop attack at ATM. Option A thin strip is inserted in the card slot to allow reading but blocking ejection, enabling post-pin card trapping. Option B, pin are commonly captured via hidden camera, fake keypad or shoulder surfing during victim transaction. Option C, visual sign include loose or misaligned slot, plastic flap, fake stickers with a helpline number. And bank generally treat customer liability as a full if not reported within 30 days. So these 4 options they have given you. Let me explain step by step. So we have started with talking about the Lebanese loop. You know what is Lebanese loop? Let me explain. So here we are about, Lebanese loop. See, basically this attack uses a thin strip or sleeve inserted inside the ATM card slot. So it uses, thin strip or what, it thin strip or sleeve. Where it is inserted? Inserted inside the ATM card slot, right? And this sleeve let the customer insert the card and complete the transaction. But when the session ends, the card does not come out and the victim thinks that it is a machine error and walk away. The fraudster then pull out the strip and retrieve the trap card. See, this is called Lebanese loop. Basically, what is happening here that you are using a what is Lebanese loop? Basically you are using a thin strip or sleeve inserted inside the ATM card slot. This sleeve let the customer insert the card and complete the transaction. But when the session ends, the card does not comes out. The victim think that it is a machine error and walk away. But the fraudster then pull out the strip and retrieve the card. So have a look at the option. So if you look at the option, then option number A says a thin strip inserted in the card slot to allow reading but block ejection. Exactly. A is the correct one. What about B? So the question is which is not correct. Remember, not correct. Option number B, pin are commonly captured via hidden camera, fake keypad or shoulder surfing. Yes, correct. Fraudster often try to capture the pin along with the card. Common method, hidden camera, fake keypad, shoulder surfing during victim transaction. Or you can say helpful stranger trick like that. What about option C? Visual sign, there is some sign of ATM tampering. What can be the sign? Loose or misaligned card slot. Then, plastic flap. Then, fake sticker with helpline number and nearby tools or lighterers. Yes, suspicious loiterer who guide the customer. Nighttime operation at crowded ATM. So yes, this is a kind of Lebanese loop. What about option D? Bank generally treat customer liability as full if not repeated within 30 days. See, very important thing I'm telling you. Customer liability is not automatically full after 30 days. The RBI rule, what does it say? RBI rule says that if you report the fraud, let me write it down. See, that depends on how much time you report. If you report the fraud within 3 days, then zero liability. And if you report it within 4 to 7 days, then we have, limited liability. That's the point. And beyond that, liability depends on bank investigation. It is not automatically full. Bank never take the full liability, right? If you reported the fraud within 3 days, then no liability, right? And limited liability if they reported within 4 to 7 days. Beyond that, liability on bank investigation not automatically full. So he said that the customer liability has a full. No, that's wrong, right? So STR filing also is not optional. It is optional. No. In ATM card trapping fraud involving misuse of credential, unauthorized withdrawal, financial loss, bank must send an STR. You know what is STR? STR is suspicious transaction record. To whom? To whom bank has to send? Bank has to send to FIUIND. Within how many days? Within 7 days. See, this is the peculiarity of this session. I'm not just telling you the correct answer. I'm explaining each and every relevant concept related to that particular question, right? So what we learn from this question is that, let me give you a trick to remember it. So you can remember, so we are talking about the, loop. Yes, we have talked about the Lebanese loop. So one way you can remember it like this. So you can remember the loop is, trap the card. The loop is, trap the card, right? And pin will capture. Loop means trap the card, pin will capture, and bank liability is decided by the RBI rule. There is nothing like, there is nothing like 30 days rule. So if D say 30 days, it is always wrong, right? There is nothing 30 days like it. Please remember it. So let me quickly summarize the key point which we have learned from this question. That Lebanese loop is just like a card trapping device in the ATM slot. Pin stolen via camera, fake keypad, shoulder surfing, visible tampering sign, and bank do not impose automatically full liability. Friends, if you want such kind of explanation for the complete PDF, for the complete 50 to 60 question, you can enroll in our course. The course name is Prevention of Cybercrime. Because in this video, we are not covering all the question. We are covering a selected few question, right? With high probability of asking examination. And if you want to cover all the topics in this kind of manner, you can enroll in our course. This is provided in the description section. Now friends, have a look at the next question. The next question is regarding the IT Amendment Act. So the question says that, which of the following statement is about the IT Amendment Act 2008 aligning with the IT Act with other Indian law is not correct. Again, I am highlighting this word not correct. Remember it. Most of the time we often ignore it. But remember, the question is all about, not correct. Okay, have a look at the option. Option A, the Indian Evidence Act was updated to treat electronic record as document. and admit them in court through section number 65B certificate. Option B says that the RBI Act was amended to empower RBI to regulate electronic fund transfer like RTGS, NEFT, IMPS under section 58 subsection 2P. Option C says the Bankers Book Evidence Act was amended to exclude electronic record such as CBS log and SWIFT message from the definition of book to prevent misuse. Option D say the IPC was updated to include digital forgery provision complementing IT Act section 66C, 66D for cyber fraud case. Now have a look. So these are the 4 options. Let me just zoom out a little bit so that you can see all the 4 options in a single page. Now I think it is visible. Now friends, let me explain a little bit about this IT Amendment Act. When it comes, this IT Amendment Act, it came in the year 2008. And it did not just modify the IT Act, it aligned several other Indian law. What it does, it aligned several other Indian law with what? With the digital era. Right. So let's look at the option. Option number A, if you look at, it says, the Indian Evidence Act was updated to treat electronic record as document. See, the Indian Evidence Act was amended to legally recognize electronic record. Exactly. Correct. Right. This is where, section number 65B certificate comes into play. It ensures that ATM logs, right, CBS core banking system, then CCTV footage, then email, server logs, USB data, all are admissible in the court. If you accompany it by 65B certificate, they are admissible in the court. That is what Indian Evidence Act updation was done in the Indian Evidence Act. Correct. This is the perfectly correct answer. Correct option. Now, what about option B? Option B says, the RBI Act was updated with section 58 subsection 2P. Yes, correct. This give legal backing for RBI to regulate RTGS. It give legal backing to RBI for regulating RTGS, NEFT, and IMPS and other electronic payment system. Meaning that RBI now fully control operational rule, security, standard for digital payment. So yes, B is also correct. What about option C? No, this is wrong. It says, Bankers Book Evidence Act. No, that's wrong. Because this is actually opposite of what actually happened. The Bankers Book Evidence Act, or in short we call it, BBEA. Right. This BBEA was amended to include and not exclude electronic record. Actually, it was amended to include the electronic record, not to exclude it. This means electronic banking data is not treated as an official book of account. Let me give you some example of this BBEA. Bankers Book Evidence Act. So like, CBS log, like, SWIFT message, or, server log, or, EMI report, right? Digital ledger. So saying electronic record were excluded is completely wrong. You cannot say that electronic record is excluded, right? This is wrong. What about option D? The IPC was updated. Yes, it was updated, right? To include digital era crime like, digital forgery and, electronic falsification, cyber fraud element. And there are some section like 463, section number 468, right? Which complement IT Act section number 66C, which we have already discussed, right? Which is identity misuse, and section 66D, which is, cheating by impersonation. Cheating by impersonation. For example, in the case of Lebanese loop fraud, the fraudster may be charged with IPC 420, IPC 468, IT Act 66C. He may be charged with all these things, right? So yes, D is the correct one. So what we learned from this discussion is that, let me give you a simple memory trick to remember it. So just remember this word BBEA, right? BBEA, right? So this is called, banking evidence. Banking evidence. So it always include the electronic record. It always include the electronic record. And if an option say BBEA exclude electronic record, it's quite wrong, right? So let me summarize the keyword, key learning from this question, that, Indian Evidence Act now accept electronic record with 65B certificate. RBI Act was amended to regulate RTGS, NEFT, IMPS. And BBEA include electronic banking data, it does not exclude it. And IPC updated to include digital forgery and cyber fraud. Please remember this point, very, very important. Friends, next question we have on the screen, that it is all about, which of the following statement about CDAC BOSS, Bharat Operating System Solution, is most accurate, right? So this is a question. BOSS. Option A, it is a proprietary window based OS primarily meant for general retail user and lack forensic or SIEM capability. B says, Boss Enterprise should focus only on antivirus update and does not support user or access tracking or policy enforcement. Option C says, that BOSS provide fraud prevention tool such as cyber forensic lab or the threat analysis engine and SIEM log analytics suited for RBI mandated cyber norm. And D say BOSS cannot be used for Aadhaar or PAN integration and is not accepted for audit under the CERT-IN impanelment framework. So which option do you think is correct? Let's start with it. So first of all, Bharat operating system solution in the context of banking and cyber security. So, BOSS is not just a normal operating system. Actually, let me talk about the BOSS. Basically, it comes with built-in cyber security tool. There are, cyber security tool inside it, which are designed specifically for, banks and government bodies, right? So it includes cyber forensic tools. There are some cyber forensic tools inside it, right? Means that tools that help in investigating the cyber crime, recovering the deleted file. It includes some threat analysis engines. Some threat analysis engines are also there inside the BOSS, which means these analyze malware, suspicious URL and harmful file. Some SIEM tools are there, which like you might have heard the name of CDAC SIEM. So SIEM means collecting log from different systems, analyzing them and detecting fraud or cyber attack. And it also supports the RBI. It also supports the RBI cyber norms. It also supports the RBI cyber norms. EWS, early warning system, and can be used in audit under the CERT-IN framework. Now let's look at the options that we have. So if you look at the option number A, so it is Linux based, right? It is a Linux based and it is an open source operating system. It does not have forensic and SIEM capability, right? So that is wrong. Option number B says that BOSS Enterprise should focus only on antivirus update and does not support user asset tracking or policy enforcement. Again, this is wrong. It says that it only focus on antivirus update. But if you talk about the BOSS Enterprise, so it actually support the asset. It actually support the user tracking. Yes, it support it. Second thing is that it also support the policy enforcement. Correct. And third thing is that it also support the LAN and WAN monitoring. Right. Fourth thing is that it also support the endpoint management. So it is much more advanced, right? And what about option number D? It says, so option number C, what do you think about it? Yes, it supports all these things, right? So option number B is wrong. I just told you. What about C? C, you will look at the letter C. If you look at the C, yes, C is the correct one because it says that it provides fraud prevention tools such as cyber forensic lab, threat analysis engine, SIEM log analytics. Exactly. This is the point, right? So cyber forensic tool like, tools that help in investigating the cyber crime. Threat analysis engine. Here you can see the keyword they have mentioned. Threat analysis engine, which means these analyze the malware, suspicious URL and harmful files. And SIEM log analytics, which means that SIEM means collecting log from different systems, analyzing them and detecting fraud or cyber attack. So yes, option number C is the perfect one. What about D? So D, if you look at it is wrong because it says that BOSS cannot be used for Aadhaar or PAN integration. Actually, actually CDAC is a CERT-IN impaneled and BOSS supports secure integration. Remember, if you talk about the CDAC, so this is a CERT, right? This is CERT-IN impaneled, right? This is CERT-IT impaneled, and BOSS supports secure integration used in many government systems. So let me tell you a memory trick to remember this key point. You can remember the BOSS as like, bank owned secure system, right? So just remember it like this: bank owned secure system, that is BOSS. Actually, this is not the full form. This is just what I made for easily memorizing it. Just remember this line. It reminds you that BOSS has forensic tool, threat analysis engine, SIEM, all needed for banking cyber security. Bank has own secure system, right? Bank's own secure system. That's why the correct answer to this question is option number C, right? So please remember what we learned from the discussion is that, BOSS is a GNU and Linux based. This is not a window based, and it includes three things. It includes SIEM, forensic capability, right? And then we learned that it supports RBI cyber norm and it also supports the CERT-IN audits. Enterprise should include asset tracking, policies and network management, etc. Now friends, have a look at this fill in the blank type question, which is regarding the BPSS. Last time it was asked. Right. So the question is BPSS constituted under DAS was RBI apex body for regulating payment system until its replacement by the DAS in the September 2025, which now provide a stronger independence and direct reporting to the RBI board. Its mandate include fraud prevention, cyber risk monitoring, compliance with DAS reporting norm for payment system incidents. So here we're talking about the BPSS. You know what is the full form of BPSS? This is the Board for Regulation and Supervision of Payment System. Right. I think already I've told you. B for board. Right. Board for PSS means what? You know, Regulation and Supervision of the Payment and Settlement System. Right. This was created under the PSS Act 2007. It was created under the PSS Act 2007. And this section give, you know, RBI the authority to regulate payment system in India. So options they have given: PSS Act, IT Act, RBI Act. Obviously it is PSS Act, section number 3. And from September 2025, there is just an amendment. Please remember it. In September 2025, right, BPSS was replaced by what? You know, this was replaced by Payment. Please note it down. This has been happened recently. Payment Regulatory Board. Right. This is no longer BPSS. Now it is Payment Regulatory Board. Why? Why this was replaced by Payment Regulatory Board? What is the role of this? Basically, to give more independence and direct reporting to the RBI board. So the new apex regulator inside the RBI is PRB. No longer BPSS, it is PRB, Payment Regulator Board. What about blank 3? It says that, you know, its mandate include fraud prevention, cyber risk monitoring, compliance with DAS reporting norm. Actually, you know, this is as per the National Cyber Security Norms. All the payment systems cyber incident must be reported to CERTIN within 6 hours. Right, within 6 hours. And RBI also follows this requirement. So, with 6 hour reporting norm for payment system. Option number 3 is 6 hours. Right. So, what we learned from the
first question: which of the following statement best differentiate between durability and consistency in the context of software or system design? Right. So let's go through each and every option. Option number A says that durability ensures that a system remain operational even when faced with a high traffic, while consistency guarantees that data remain accurate and synchronized across multiple nodes or system. So it sounds logical, but it is not correct. Why it is incorrect? Because, you know, let me give you the reason. This is incorrect because durability is about ensuring its data is permanently saved. So let me write down the key point, that it is about ensuring that data is permanently saved, right? So even if system crashes, it is not just about handling high traffic, right? And if we talk about the consistency is about, you know, data being the same across all user at the same time. Let me give you an example. Imagine you book a train ticket online and the website crashes. So if your booking is still confirmed after the crash, that is durability. And suppose if two people checking the same ticket availability see the same number of seat left, that is called consistency, right? So durability means your data is permanently saved even if the system crashes. I given you example. Now let's see the option number B. So durability guarantee that once a transaction is committed, it will survive failure, while consistency ensures that all clients see the same view of the data at the same time. Yes, this is correct. You know, durability guarantees that once a transaction, so this is correct because durability means once the data is saved, it is stay even if the system fail. For example, a bank deposit should not disappear if the server crashes, right? That is durability. And if we talk about this so-called consistency, it means what? Everyone see the same data at the same time. If a person buy the latest concert ticket, others should instantly see sold out, right? So everyone should see the same data. So option number B is correct. Option C says durability focus on preventing unauthorized access to data, while consistency focus on ensuring the system respond quickly to user requests. This is wrong. Option D says durability is primarily concerned with data storage efficiency, while consistency is primarily concerned with data retrieval speed. This is also wrong. So the correct answer to this particular question is what we have, option number B, right? Option number B is the correct answer. Now let's move to the next question. So this is the explanation of this question, right? So now let's see the question number B. Second question: what is the primary role of malicious code writer in the context of cyber security threat? Right. So let's answer this question. So friends, we will go through each and every option, explain why it is wrong, why it is right, and why it is wrong, and give real life example to make it super simple. The question is, what is the primary role of malicious code writer in the context of cyber security threat? Option A says to develop and implement security protocol that protect computer system from malware. It sounds good, but this is incorrect. This is incorrect. Why? Because a security expert, if we talk about the security expert or cyber security professional, right, so they protect the system, not a malicious code writer, right? They protect system, not a malicious code writer, right? Also known as a hacker or cyber criminal. You know, malicious code writer do the opposite. They create threat, not prevent them, right? They create threat, right? For example, a police officer enforces the law while a thief try to break it. Similarly, security experts protect the system while hackers try to break it. Option B, to design and create harmful computer program script intended to exploit system vulnerability. This is correct. You know why it is correct? Because malicious code writer create harmful program. Okay, what is the meaning of this harmful program? It means just like you see virus, they create something like virus, they create something like worms or ransomware, right? Virus, worms, ransomware, right? So they create this code writer creates this harmful program like virus, worms and ransomware to exploit weakness in software, network and device. So they may do this for stealing data, spreading malware or damaging system. So let me give you an example. A hacker writing ransomware that locks your file and demand money to unlock them, right? So this is the correct answer. That's the primary role of malicious writer. Option C says to analyze the network traffic and identify the potential security breaches. So this is wrong, because you know this describes the role of cyber security analyst. Yes, so this is the role of cyber security analyst, right? Malicious code writer create attack, not prevent them. For example, think of a security guard monitoring CCTV footage versus a thief trying to sneak into. So this is wrong. Option D says to provide technical support to users who have been affected by malware attack. You know, this is wrong, because the tech support help to fix issue, but malicious code writer create those issue. In fact, you know, some hacker even pretend to be tech support to trick user. For example, scammers calling people pretending to be from Microsoft support and asking for remote access to their computer. So what we learned from this question, that the malicious code writer create harmful program like virus and ransomware, and their goal is to exploit the system weakness for theft, disruption and control, and they are not cyber security expert. That's why correct answer is option. If you are looking for unit wise theories, MCQs, previous year question PDF, you can look for our certification examination in prevention of cybercrime and fraud management. You can see I have arranged the entire, we have created two separate folder in which there is a folder for theory and MCQ PDF, and there is another folder for previous year question. In theory and MCQ PDF you will see I have arranged it into separate module A, module B, module C, module D, and inside every module we have units. Like for you can see there is separate theory PDF and there is separate MCQs PDF, and each MCQ PDF has almost 50 plus MCQs per unit. So overall, you know, there are 20 units, so you will practice 1000 MCQs, and these MCQs are more than sufficient for your examination. So if you want to enroll in it, please install our app JAIIB and CAIIB Made Simple. The link has been provided in the description section, and I will add more and more PYQs in this particular course. It costs only rupees 200, as you can see the cost here. So what are you waiting for? Just enroll in the course description section, and most of the candidates who have enrolled in it have passed the examination effortlessly. So I request you to please see the description section for more detail, or you can WhatsApp me on this number. Now let's see the third question. The third question is, what is the primary purpose of a multi-layered security approach in cyber security? Multi-layered security approach, what is the primary purpose of it? So let's answer this question. So option number A says that to simplify the security management process by using a single security measure. This is incorrect. Why incorrect? Because you know, cyber security is not about using just one measure. A single security layer is like locking your front door but leaving the window open. Not safe of all, right? Not safe at all. So multi-layered approach means having multiple security barrier to stop attacker at different point. For example, imagine protecting your house with just a door lock. You are protecting your house with just a door lock. So a thief can break in easily, but if you have a security alarm, CCTV camera, guard dog, it becomes much harder to break in, right? So this is the best example. So the primary purpose of a multi-layered security approach is that the option A is wrong. To simplify the security management process is wrong. Option B says to ensure that if one layer of security is breached, additional layer are in place to protect sensitive data system. Yes, this is correct, because you know this strategy is called defense in depth. So this strategy is called defense in depth. You must know it. right? So it means multiple security layer protect the system. Even if one layer fail, the other still protect the system. Think of a castle, right? You can think of a castle. You know, it has wall, moats, guards, gates. If a attacker crosses one, the other still stop them. So cyber security work the same way. Option number C says to focus solely on software based security solution, ignoring physical security measure. This is wrong. Why? Because cyber security is not just about software. Physical security is just as important, right? So we should not ignore this physical security measure. So attacker can also steal data physically, like stealing a laptop or hacking into a Wi-Fi network. For example, if a hacker can walk into a data center and steal a hard drive, all your software security measure means nothing. Now, option number D said to create a user-friendly interface for managing security protocol. This is also wrong. Why? Because when user-friendly security tools are helpful, they are not the main goal of multi-layered security approach. The goal is protection, not just ease of use. For example, having an easy-to-use lock is good, but the real point of lock is to stop intruder, not just to be convenient. So what we learn from this question, that this multi-layered security means defense in depth. It protects system using multiple layer of security. Even if one layer is breached, others keep data safe. It includes software like firewall, encryption, and physical measures like biometric lock and CCTV. So cyber security is not just about making things easy, it is about making them secure. I hope this makes sense to you. So what are you waiting for? Do hit the like button if you really think that this explanation is useful for you and you are able to understand each and every fact which I am telling you. Now let's look at the next question. Which of the following best describe the primary purpose of the crypto locker virus? Crypto locker virus का primary purpose क्या होता है? This is the question which has been asked. Option number A says that it replicates. So here the key point is crypto locker virus. Option A says it replicates itself across a network to overwhelm system and cause denial of service, which is called DOS. This is wrong. Basically, this describes a type of attack which we call worm attack, or which we call DDoS attack. The DDoS. You should know each and every option, because each and every option describes you something else. It describes your concept. So this is called worm or DDoS. DDoS means distributed denial of service attack. What is a worm? Means a worm is spread across network to overload system, causing slowdown or crashes. And DDoS attack, you know, it flood a website or server with traffic, making it inaccessible. Imagine if a shopping website is hit with so many fake visitors that real customer can't place order. That is called DDoS attack, not crypto locker. Now let's see the option number B. Option number B says that it steals personal information such as password and credit card detail and transmit them to remote server. This is wrong, because this describe the spyware. This describe the role of spyware, right? Or we can say keyloggers, not crypto log, not crypto locker. So what is the meaning of a spyware? You might have heard of this spyware. You might have heard of this keylogger. So spyware steals secretly collect data like your banking detail and password and send them to hacker. And crypto locker does not steal your data. It locks up and demands money. So for example, a keylogger work like a hidden camera recording your ATM pin, and that is different from ransomware. Now option number C says that it encrypt file on infected computer and demand ransom payment in exchange for the decryption. This is correct, because you know crypto locker is a type of ransomware. It is a type of ransomware, you must know it. You know, it locks your file using a strong encryption, then hacker demand a ransom, usually in Bitcoin, to unlock your file. Imagine logging all your personal file in super secure safe way and losing the key. So the hacker tell you pay us and we will give you the key back. That is exactly how crypto locker work. And option number D says it display unwanted advertisement and redirect website traffic to generate revenue for the attacker. This is wrong. This describe adware. This is not crypto locker virus. Rather, this describe the adware. You know adware. So it describes something called adware, right? So adware bombard you with pop-ups, fake ads, redirect to a scam website. It is annoying but does not lock your file like crypto locker. Have you ever visited a website and suddenly see tons of pop-up ads? That is adware, not ransomware. So what we learned from here, that cryptoware is a ransomware virus that encrypt file and demand money for decryption. It does not steal password. That is spyware or flood system. Never pay the ransom. It encourages hacker and does not guarantee you will get your file back. And protect yourself by keeping backup, using a strong antivirus software, and being cautious with email attachment. So these are the way to get rid of this crypto locker virus. Now let's see the next question. The next question that we have is what is the primary function of a packet filtering firewall? Very good question it is. Let's answer this question in detail. So packet filtering firewall. First option says primary function to encrypt data packet to ensure secure transmission over the network. Right. So option number A says that to encrypt data packet to ensure secure transmission over the network. So what do you think? Is it the correct answer to this question? This is wrong. The encryption process is done by protocol, right? Like SSL. You might have heard of this so-called SSL, right? TLS, or you might have heard of VPN. So basically, encryption is done by protocol like this, not packing filtering valve. What is the meaning of encryption? Encryption is scrambled data so that the only intended recipient can read it, and the packing filtering firewall does not encrypt it. It only check and filter packet. For example, think of encryption like locking a message in a safe before sending it. So receiver needs a key to unlock it, but a firewall is more like a security guard checking who enters a building. It does not lock the message. Option B says to analyze the content of data packet and block those containing malicious software. This is also wrong, because it describes something called IDS. This is the role of IDS. What is IDS? Intrusion detection system, or we can call it antivirus, right? This is the role of antivirus. You know what it is? Basically, packing filtering software firewall does not read the actual content of the packet. They only check header information like IP address and ports. To detect virus or malware, you need something called DPI, right? You need something called DPI. DPI means what? DPI means deep packet inspection, or an IDS. Imagine you receive a sealed envelope. A packet filtering valve checks the address on it but does not open it to see what is inside. An antivirus, on the other hand, open and scan it for harmful content. Right, that is the role of antivirus. Option number C says to allow or block data packet based on predefined rules regarding IP address, ports, and protocol. This is also correct. You know why it is correct? Because packet filtering firewall acts like a security checkpoint. It checks packet header for details like sources and destination IP address, port number, protocol. Right. If the packet matches the rule, it is allowed to pass. If not, it is blocked. For example, this is correct. For example, imagine a bouncer at a club. If your ID match the guest list, you are allowed in. If you are blocked, if you are not, you are blocked. That is exactly how a packet filtering valve works. And option D say to provide a user-friendly interface for managing network traffic. This is also incorrect. There are some firewall have management tools. Their main job is to filter packet and not make things user-friendly. User-friendliness is more about network monitoring tool, not security firewall. For example, think of a bank security system. Their priority is protection, not how easy is it to manage. The same applies to firewall. They focus on blocking threat, not making things convenient. So what we learned from this discussion, that packet filtering will allow or block traffic based on rules related to IP address, ports, and protocol. They do not encrypt the data. They do not scan for malware, and they act like a security guard filtering traffic before it enters a network. So I hope this makes sense to you. You know about this packet filtering valve. Let's see the next question that we have. The next question is on your screen, as you can see. Which of the following best describe a cross-site scripting, which is called XSS vulnerability in web application? So XSS, this is the question. Let's see the option. Option number A says that a server administrator configures incorrect file permission, allowing unauthorized user to access sensitive data. So this is wrong. This is a file permission misconfiguration issue, not XSS. Basically, name itself says it, file misconfiguration issue, right? So file permission control who can access or modify file on a server, right? So this file permission, they control who can access or modify files on a server. If they are set incorrectly, attacker can read or change sensitive data. So this is a different type of vulnerability, not related to injecting malicious encrypt. For example, imagine a locker in a bank. You imagine a locker in a bank. If the lock is weak, anyone can open it and access your valuable. That is what happens when file permission are weak. Option number B, which says that attacker intercept network traffic and modify data packet to redirect user to a malicious website. This is wrong. This describe a MITM. You know what is the meaning of MITM? MITM means man in the middle attack. means man in the middle attack. MITM, man in the middle attack, not XSS. In MITM attack, hacker intercept your communication with a website, right? Hacker intercept your communication with a website, and what they do, they can modify the data, or they can redirect you to a fake website to steal your information. So this is a network level attack, whereas accesses happen inside a website. For example, let me give an example for this option number B. Imagine you are talking on a phone with a friend, but a hacker taps into a line and changes your message. That is what MITM attacker do with the data packet, right? So this is out. Option number C says that a user enters a malicious script into the client's inside input field, and the application processes this input without proper validation, leading to the execution of untrusted code on the client side. This is correct. So this XSS, or we call it cross, basically what we are talking about is XSS, right? So either you call it XSS or you call it cross-site scripting, right? As both mean the same. So either you call it XSS or you call it cross-site scripting. So it happened when a website allow user to enter text, right? So whenever a website allow user to enter text like a comment box or search bar, but does not check or clean the input. For example, let me give an example. Imagine a guest book on a website where people can leave message. Instead of normal message, the hacker types. If the website does not filter this input, anyone visiting the page will see an alert pop up. This proves that malicious script can run on user browser. This is XSS in action. And what is option number D? A database server failed to authenticate user credential properly and allowing unauthorized access to sensitive information. This is also wrong, right? This is option number D is wrong. Why? Because if login security is weak, attacker can bypass authentication and access sensitive data. XSS does not involve weak password. It is about injecting a script into website. Imagine a hotel that does not check ID card before giving room key. Anyone could enter. That is what happens when authentication is broken. So what we learned from this discussion is that XSS occur when a web application does not sanitize user input, allowing attacker to inject a script. It happens inside website and run on user browser. Attacker can use XSS to steal data, hijack account, or redirect user to fake pages. To prevent XSS, website must validate and sanitize user input. So these are the inputs which you must remember regarding this XSS, which is called cross-site scripting. Let's see the next question. In which year was the RuPay card officially launched in India? Please answer. 2007, 2009, 2012, 2014. So 2007 is wrong. There was no RuPay card, right? 2009 is also wrong. This was important year because NPCI was formed in it, right? NPCI means National Payment Corporation of India. 2012 is the correct answer to this question. What is the correct answer? The correct answer being 2012. Right, 2012 is the correct answer. Why? Because RuPay was officially launched in March 2012 by NPCI. It was created to provide an Indian alternative to the Visa and MasterCard. What is the biggest benefit? It reduces the transaction fee and keep money within Indian economy. Right. So imagine you are buying grocery. If you are using a foreign card, a small fee goes to that company outside India. But if you use RuPay, all fees stay within India. Right. So this is the point. So what we learned, RuPay was officially launched in 2012 by NPCI. It was created as India's own payment system to reduce dependency on foreign network. Right. So this is the point which we must keep in our mind. Now let's see the next question that we have. So friends, next question, as you can see it here. What is the primary characteristics of Trojan horse in the context of cybersecurity? Very nice question. Trojan horse in the context of cybersecurity. So option number A says that it replicates itself across network to spread like a virus. What do you think? This is wrong. Why? Because this describes a computer virus. It describes a computer virus, not a Trojan horse. Right. So viruses can copy themselves and spread without user permission. Trojan, on the other hand, do not replicate on their own. So this is the key feature of Trojan. It does not replicate. Right. So this is not a key feature. Option number A is wrong because the Trojan does not replicate. This replicating feature is not with Trojan. For example, imagine you download a song and suddenly your PC starts sending the file to everyone in your contact without your knowledge. That is a virus, not a Trojan. Option number B says it disguises itself as legitimate software to deceive user into executing it. Yes, this is correct. Option number B is correct. Why? Because a Trojan horse like a useful or harmless program. It looks like a useful or harmless program but actually contain malware. It tricks the user to installing it, often through fake software, email attachment or pop-up. Once inside your system, it can steal data, control your PC or install more malware. Imagine you download a free game, but instead of playing, your PC start acting weird. That game was actually a Trojan. It looks saved, but it secretly installed malware. Option number C say it required no user interaction to install and operate. This is wrong. Why? Because Trojan need the user to download and install them. Unlike worms which is spread automatically, Trojan rely on human mistake. So if you are receiving an email system saying you won a lottery, click here to claim, and you click on the link, you just install a Trojan yourself. And option number D say it primarily target hardware component of a computer system. Trojan attacks software, not the hardware. They don't break your computer physically, right? But can damage file, steal password and spy on you. So a Trojan can record everything you type like password, but it won't burn your hard drive or break your screen. So what we learned from this discussion, that a Trojan horse disguises itself and use as a useful software, but it's actually malware, and it needs a user to install it. And Trojan are commonly hidden in fake downloads, emails, and pop-ups. So I hope that makes your concept regarding Trojan very clear. Now let's see the next one. Data backup is considered an example of which type of control in information security. Very important. You should be clear cut about all this control that we have. So option A say preventive control. Yes, it is correct, because preventive control, as the name itself suggests, it stops the problem, right? It stops problem before they happen. And if we talk about the data backup, so data backup help prevent permanent data loss in case of accident, cyber attack, or system failure, right? So preventive control is the correct answer. It stops problem before they actually happen. For example, imagine you are working on an important project. Let me give you an example. So imagine you are working on an important project. If you accidentally delete the file, you can restore it from the backup instead of losing it forever. So you are working on an important project, and if you accidentally delete the file, you can restore it from the backup instead of losing it forever. That is preventing a bigger problem from happening. That is called preventive control. And then we have the second point, that is detective control. This is wrong. Why? Because detective control help identify issues after they happen. So they help identify the issues after they have happened. That did not prevent problem, they just alert you when something goes wrong. For example, a security camera help detect theft, but it does not stop the theft from happening. Similarly, an antivirus scam detect viruses, but it does not prevent them from infecting your system in the first place. Now corrective control. Corrective control is also wrong, because corrective control help fix issue after they happen. They recover from damage, but they don't prevent it. For example, if a virus infects your system, a corrective control would be using an antivirus tool to remove it. So data backup can be a part of corrective action, but its main purpose is prevention. And option D says compensatory control. This is wrong, because compensatory control acts like a backup, right? When primary control fail, they don't prevent issue but reduce risk when other measures are not enough. For example, if a company can't afford top tier security software, they might use strict manual monitoring as a compensatory measure. So data backup is not just a backup plan, it is a main preventive control, right? So here the question was about the data backup, so it is a preventive control. So data backup is a preventive control. It helps stop permanent data loss. Detective control find issuer after they happen. Corrective control fix issuer after they happen. And compensatory control reduces risk when other control are weak. So friends, as you can see, we have all more questions available on this particular PDF, and this PDF is available in our course, which is our cyber crime and fraud management. If you want all this PDF, all this question, I request you to please enroll in our course. You will get access to all these kinds of theory, and for each and every question you will get detailed explanation, right? So if you want any detail regarding this cyber security, like you can see, CCTV is which type of security control. So CCTV is a physical control, right? CCTV is a type of physical control. You can WhatsApp me on this particular number on the screen. You can see it number, right?
Opportunity, incentive, rationalization, and option D say punishment. Take a second to think about it. I hope you got your answer. So let's explain each option one by one. So the fraud triangle, the concept here is talking about the fraud triangle. So this fraud triangle, this is a concept, right? It is a concept that explains why people commit fraud, right? It explains why people commit fraud, right? So it has three key parts. Let's go through them through a simple example. The first part is what we call as opportunity, right? So opportunity means chance to commit fraud. It simply means the chance to commit fraud. When there are weak control, missing check, or loopholes, a person might find it easy to cheat the system, right? For example, imagine a cashier at a store. If there is no camera, no supervisor, no regular audit, they might be tempted to take money from the register, and that is an opportunity for the fraud. Now option B say incentive. So incentive means you can say pressure. Either you call it incentive or you call it pressure, both means the same. This is the reason behind the fraud. People commit fraud when they need money, when they face job pressure, or have some personal issue. For example, suppose an employee has huge debt, right? I take an example of an employee who has huge debts, or gambling addiction. So they might feel pressured to steal money from the company to solve the problem, and that is an incentive. The third option is rationalization, right? So I hope option A, B and C, or option A, B, C clear. Now let's talk about option number C, rationalization. So rationalization is how the fraudster convince themselves, right? How the fraudster convince themselves that what they are doing is okay. So someone who is still office supply might think, I work extra hour and don't get paid enough, so I deserve this. This justify their wrongdoing in their mind. So they justify their wrongdoing in the mind. And option D say punishment. Punishment is not a part of the fraud triangle, because punishment is something which happen after fraud is caught. A strict punishment policy actually reduces fraud because people are scared of the consequences. For example, if a company has a strong fraud policy like immediate termination or legal action, employee will think twice before committing fraud, right? So what is the final answer? So friends, the correct answer is option number D, right? Punishment, because punishment is a deterrent, not a reason why fraud happen. So what we learned from this particular question, that opportunity, which means weak control or loopholes, it make fraud possible. Incentive or pressure, so personal or financial reason push someone toward fraud. Rationalization, the fraudster justify their action to feel less guilty. And punishment is not a component, it is a way to prevent the fraud. And that's it. Now you know how the fraud triangle work and why punishment is not a part of it. If you find this useful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more easy explanation, and comment below. So now let's see the next question. So this was the second question which was asked in the previous year examination. So the question says that what is honey spot in cyber security? Honeypot, sorry. So option A says a type of malware that is spread through email attachment. Option B says a network security mechanism designed to detect and trap cyber attack. Option C say a firewall that prevent unauthorized data access. And option D say a technique used for encrypting sensitive data. Right, think about it for a second. I hope you got your answer. So let's break down each option and find out the correct one. So basically here the question is regarding what? Cyber security, right? What is the meaning of cyber security? Cyber security is all about protecting system from hackers. So you are protecting system from hackers, and honeypot is a unique strategy used for this purpose. So you are protecting your system for hacker, and honeypot is a strategy which is used for this. So now let's go to the option. Option is a type of malware that is spread through email attachment. So first of all, what is this malware? See, we are not just discussing the MCQs. We are discussing each and every option. We understand the main concept. So this is a conceptual session where we are studying each and every concept. Now, malware refers to harmful software. There are some harmful software, right, that infect system, often spreading through email attachment or malicious link. So suppose, for example, you receive an email claiming that you have won a prize, but when you open the attachment, it secretly install a virus. So that is a malware, that is not a honeypot. So this option is incorrect, right? Now let's see the option number B. Option number B says that a network security mechanism designed to detect and trap cyber attacker. So friends, if we talk about this something called honeypot, so what is this honeypot? This honeypot is a fake or decoy system designed to lure hacker. So this system is designed to lure hacker, right? So security experts use it to study cyber threat and improve defenses. For example, you imagine setting up a fake banking website that looks real but is actually a trap. Hacker try to steal data from it, but instead their actions are recorded, helping security team prevent the real attack. And that is how honeypot works. What is happening that suppose you set up a fake banking website that look real but is really actually a trap, right? So fake website is an example of this honeypot. So hacker try to steal data from it, but instead their actions are recorded, helping security team prevent real attack. And that is how a honeypot works. So a network security mechanism designed to detect and trap cyber attacker. Now option number C says that a firewall that prevent unauthorized data access. So firewall is a security barrier that block unauthorized traffic from entering a network. Think of a firewall as a security guard at the entrance of a building, checking who can come in and who can't. So a honeypot on the other hand welcome attacker to study them. So this option is also incorrect. And option D says a technique used for encrypting sensitive data. Encryption is a process of converting data into a code to prevent unauthorized access, right? So for example, when you use WhatsApp, your messages are encrypted, meaning no one except the sender and receiver can read them. So honeypot do not encrypt data, they act like a trap. So this option is incorrect. So what we have learned, option number, so final answer is that option number B is the correct one, right? So it is a network security mechanism designed to detect and trap cyber attacker. So quick recap, honeypot is a decoy system. You can say honeypot is a decoy system designed to attract and analyze hacker. No, it is not a malware. It does not spread through email. It's not a firewall. Firewall block access while honeypot welcome attacker. And it is not an encryption. Encryption protect data, but honeypot studies cyber threat. Friends, if you are looking for a study material for this cyber crime and fraud management, you can WhatsApp me on this particular number, or you can install our app JAIIB and CAIIB Made Simple. I have added a course which only costs rupees 200. You will get unit-wise theory, unit-wise MCQs, and previous year questions. All the things are included in this particular package. And the subject name you can see is a certification course in fraud management and cyber crime, right? And the PDF are completely downloadable. You can download the PDF and read offline, or you can take print also as per your requirement. This is the part 1 of the previous year question, and similarly I have added more than 3 parts, right? So which covers each and every important points which you help you in securing good marks in the examination with less effort. So for more detail you can WhatsApp me on this particular number for study material related to this particular chapter, this particular subject. Now let's talk about the next question we have. Under which Indian law is a cyber crime defined and regulated? Very good question it was asked, right? So which regulation, in which Indian law is a cyber crime defined and regulated? So let's answer it. Option A says Indian Contract Act 1872. Option B says Information Technology Act 2000. Option C says Indian Penal Code 1860. And option D says Companies Act 2013. So take a moment to think. Got your answer? Let's analyze each option one by one. If we have the topic, the main point is the cyber crime. I have highlighted it. So cyber crime, like suppose hacking, right? Like suppose identity theft. So these are the different kind of cyber crime we have. Identity theft, like online fraud. So they need a strong legal framework. Let's check which law actually regulate them. So option A say Indian Contract Act 1872. This is wrong because it is about legal agreement and business contract. So imagine you sign a contract to buy a car. If the seller does not deliver, you can take legal action. But if someone hack into your online banking, this law won't have. So this option is incorrect. Option B say IT Act 2000. Yes, this is correct. That IT Act 2000 is the India main law for cybercrime. It covers hacking, data theft, cyber fraud, unauthorized access. So if someone hacks your Instagram account, steal your personal data, or scam you online, they can be punished under the IT Act. So this is the correct answer. But some cases may also involve the Indian Penal Code, but the IT Act is a primary law for cybercrime. Now option C says Indian Penal Code. IPC this is also wrong. IPC is a criminal law that punishes theft, fraud and other crime. But cybercrime may also fall under IPC, but it is not the main law for cyber issue. For example, if someone threatens you online, they might be charged under section 506 of the IPC, right? That is criminal intimidation. But hacking and data theft are covered mainly under the IT Act. So this option is partially correct but not the primary law. And option D is also wrong, that is Companies Act. Because if a company do not follow corporate governance rule, it can be fined under the Companies Act. But if someone commit online fraud, this law does not, if someone commit online fraud, this law does not do it. So that is the point. So what we learned, what is the final answer? The correct answer is option number B, right? That is Information Technology Act 2000, because it is an India main law for handling cybercrime. So what we learned, that Indian Contract Act is wrong, IT Act 2000 is correct, IPC is partially irrelevant, and Companies Act is also wrong, right? Because that regulates the business, not the cybercrime. So option number B here is correct. So this is the explanation, as you can see. Now next question you can see that what is DML used for? That is data manipulation language used for. So here the question before you, that what is data manipulation language used for, and options are designing the structure of database. This is the first option you can see. Option B says controlling access to database. Option C says adding, deleting and modifying data in a database, and option D says defining relationship between tables in a database. So take a moment to think about it. What do you mean by data manipulation language? Okay, got it. So let's break it down in simplest form and see which option fits. So let's go through each and every option, understand what DML is all about. So option A says that designing the structure of database. This is wrong. You know that designing a database structure means you are creating table, okay, you are creating column, you are creating constraints, isn't it? So this is done using something called DDL. This is done using something called DDL. What is DDL? DDL stands for data definition language. So you suppose question is asked what is data definition language, so you should know, right? If data definition language means what? If you are designing a database structure, means creating tables, columns and constraints, that is called DDL. For example, imagine you are building a library database. You need to create table for books, author and borrower. So the structure or design is set up using DDL and not DML. So option A is incorrect. Option B says controlling access to the database. This is also wrong. You know, controlling access means managing who can view or modify the database. So when I say controlling access, it means managing, right? Managing what? Managing who can view or who can modify the database. So this is done using DCL. This is done using DCL. DCL, you know what is DCL? This is called data control language. Data control language, right? So for example, if you want to allow only the admin to delete record, so you would use DCL to grant or revoke permission. DML on the other hand is used for working with the actual data inside the database, right? So this option is also incorrect. Option C says adding, deleting and modifying data in a database. Yes, this is correct. This is obviously correct. This is what DML is all about. It is used to insert, update and delete data. Clearly written, insert, update and delete data, right? For example, imagine you want to add a new book to the library database. So you do use insert. What you will do, you will use insert statement in the DML. Okay, so if you want to update the price of an existing book, so you would use update button, right? Update statement. And if a book is no longer available, you can delete it using this word delete. Okay, so this is the correct answer. And option D, what it says, defining relationship between table in a database. You know, defining relationship is like a setting up primary key and foreign key, and it is done using DDL, not DML. DDL stands for data definition language. For example, when you create a relationship between book table and author table, so you use DDL, right, to set a foreign key linking the two. So DML does not deal with relationship, right? DML work with data inside the table. So this option is incorrect. So the correct option is the correct answer is option number C, right? So quick recap: option A is wrong because designing a database is done using DDL. Option B is wrong because controlling access is done using DCL. Option C is right because this DML help you insert, update and delete data. And option D is also wrong because defining relationship is done using DDL, right? It is done using DDL. So you must know what is DDL, what is DCL, what is DML. Question may be changed. I hope it is clear. Please like the video if you think it was useful for you. I am explaining each and every option, right? So that is the important part. Now let's see the next question we have. What is masquerade attack in cyber security, right? So let's talk about this particular attack. So friends, you know, the options given are attack that disrupt network traffic. This is the first option. Attack where attacker pretend to be an authorized user. A method of encrypting data for security transmission. Option D say a type of malware that infects system file, right? So these are the options given here. Now let's go through it. So take a moment to think about it. Got your answer? Now let's go through each option and understand which one is correct. Now let's break it down one by one. Option A say an attack that disrupt network traffic. So basically this attack that disrupt network traffic is actually what we call as DOS attack, or we can call it denial of service attack, where attacker overload a network to make it slow or unavailable, right? So this is called overloading. Overload a network to make it slow or unavailable. So masquerade attack are different. They focus on impersonation and not disruption. For example, imagine thousands of fake users trying to access a website at once, making it a crash. So that is called DOS attack. Okay, so not a masquerade attack. So option A is incorrect. Now option B says that an attack where the attacker pretend to be authorized user. This is exactly what masquerade attack is. The attacker steals or fakes an identity to gain access to a system as a legitimate user. For example, imagine you receive a phishing email, right? You receive a phishing email from someone pretending to be your bank. If you enter your login detail, the attacker now has access to your account and can act like they are you, and that is called masquerade attack. Now option number C says that a method of encrypting data for security transmission. So encrypting is a security measure, not an attack. It helps protect data from hacker, but it is not a masquerade attack. So option number C is wrong. For example, when you send message on WhatsApp, they are encrypted, so only the intended receiver can read them. Encryption prevents attacker rather than being an attack itself. So option number C is wrong. And option number D is a type of malware that infects system file. It describes malware attack like virus or trojans. So masquerade attack do not rely on malicious software, they rely on identity deception. So masquerade attack always rely on identity deception, right? So for example, if a hacker install a virus on your computer, that is a malware attack. But if they steal your username and password and log in pretending to be you, that is a masquerade attack. So they steal your login password, login ID, password and pretend to be you, that is called masquerade attack. So option number D is the correct. So that is the correct answer is option number B. B is correct one. So masquerade attack focus on identity theft. So here the keyword is identity theft, right? So quick recap, option A is wrong because disrupting network traffic is called DOS attack. Option B is correct because masquerade attack involve identity impersonation. Option C is wrong because encryption protect data, it is not an attack. And option D is wrong because malware infect file, but masquerade attack rely on deception. I hope this makes you concept clear regarding masquerade attack. This will no longer be an issue with you. You can easily answer such question easily. Now let's see the next question that we have. Question says that who developed the Bharat operating system solution BOSS Linux? So very good question it is. Option A say ISRO. Option B says CDAC, that is Center for Development of Advanced Computing. Option C say NIC, National Information Center. And option D is DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. Take a moment to think about it. Who developed this BOSS Linux? Take a moment to think about it. I hope you got your answer. Let's go through each option and find the correct one. So let's break it down one by one. So option A say ISRO. ISRO is in India Space Research Organization. It focus on launching satellites, right? So ISRO is focused on launching satellites, space exploration and scientific research. While ISRO does develop software for a space mission, it did not create BOSS Linux. Think of ISRO as a team being behind the Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan, but not an operating system like Linux. So option A is incorrect. Option B says CDAC. What is the meaning of CDAC? Center for Development of Advanced Computing. Yes, right. So that this is the correct answer. CDAC developed BOSS Linux, right, to promote open source software in India. What was the main reason of creating it? To promote open source software. To promote this open source software in India, this was developed. The goal was to reduce dependency on costly foreign software and enhance cyber security. So if you have ever heard of supercomputer like Param, have you heard of it? If you have ever heard of the supercomputer like Param, so they were also developed by CDAC. Similarly, BOSS Linux is another type of major contribution. Option C say, so this is the correct answer. Option C say NIC. NIC is wrong. So NIC primarily work on e-governance, right? E-governance, which means they develop digital platform for government services, but they do not focus on operating system like BOSS Linux. So this DigiLocker, right? You might have heard of this DigiLocker. So this DigiLocker app, which allow you to store digital document like Aadhaar and driving license, is an NIC project, but NIC do not develop the operating software, system software. Now finally option D number we have DRDO. DRDO is responsible for defense technology, right? So, but including missiles, radars, fighter jet, but not Linux operating system. Agni, BrahMos missile, they were developed by DRDO, but they are not related to the software like BOSS Linux. So the correct answer is option number B. So quick recap, Boss Linux was created to support India's goal of using open source software and strengthening cyber security. So option A, ISRO focus on space mission, not operating system development. CDAC, this is the correct answer, they developed the Boss Linux for India. And NIC is for e-governance, and DRDO, it works on defense technology, not software like Linux. So I hope this make your concept clear. Now let's see the next one. So the next one we have, what does the term cyber smearing refers to, right? So there are 4 options given here. So let's see the option. Let's go through the option. So friends, option A says that hacking into a company system to steal confidential data. Option B says posting false or defamatory information about a company or individual online. Option C says using an encryption to protect sensitive information from cyber threat. And option D says phishing attack targeting financial institutions. Take a moment to think about it. Alright, let's break down each option and find the correct answer. Let's analyze each option carefully. Option A say hacking into computer system to steal confidential data. Right, hacking means gaining unauthorized access to a system to steal, modify, destroy data. However, this cyber smearing is not about hacking, it is about spreading false information. So what you are doing, you are spreading false information, and that is what cyber smearing is all about. For example, if a hacker breaks into a company database and leak customer detail, so that is hacking, not cyber smearing. Now option B says that posting false and defamatory information about a company or individual online. Yes, this is the correct answer. Cyber smearing means spreading false or negative information about a person or a company online to harm their reputation. For example, if someone spread fake negative review about a restaurant on a social media just to damage its business, that is called cyber smearing. Option C says that using encryption to protect sensitive information from cyber threat. This encryption is a security technique used to protect data from unauthorized access. It has nothing to do with spreading false information. For example, a bank encrypt customer password to keep them safe. That's encrypting, not cyber smearing. And option D says phishing attack targeting financial institutions. So phishing is when cyber criminal try to trick people into revealing sensitive information like password or banking detail. Since phishing is a fraud technique, not defamation, so option D is incorrect. So for example, if a scammer send an email pretending to be bank and ask for login details, so that is phishing and not cyber smearing. So the correct answer is option number B. Right, cyber smearing is when someone spread lies or misleading information on the internet to harm someone's reputation. So let's take a quick recap. So option A is wrong because hacking is about unauthorized access, not smearing. Option B is correct because cyber smearing is spreading false information to damage reputation. Option C is wrong because encryption is about security, not defamation. And option D is wrong because phishing is a scam technique, not cyber smearing. So I hope this makes your concept clear regarding the cyber smearing, what it is all about. Right, now let's see the next one. The next one is a very good question. This was asked in the previous year. Let's answer it. As a branch manager, if you receive an email request from an NRI customer to transfer rupees 10,000 from their account, what should you do? So as you are a branch manager, if you receive an email request from an NRI customer to transfer 10,000 rupees from their account, what would you do? Right, so we will go through the answer choice and explain them in simple term and help you understand the correct approach. So let's dive into. So first is that process the transaction immediately. Ask the customer to send a written application by the post for transaction. Option C say ask the customer to send proof of address verified by the foreign authority. Option D say ignore the request as fraudulent. Take a moment to think about it. What would you do? Alright, now let's go through each and every option. Let's analyze each option one by one. So option A say process the transaction immediately. This is wrong. Bank do not process financial transactions solely based on email request because of the security risk. Email can be hacked or spoofed, and if a fraudster gain access to the customer email, they can misuse it. So imagine a hacker gain access to an NRI customer email and request a fund transfer. If the bank process it without verification, the money could be lost. Option B says ask the customer to send a written application by post for the transaction. This is the correct answer. For security reason, bank require a duly signed written request from the NRI customer, which should be sent by post or through a secure banking channel like internet banking or mobile app. The bank receive an email request from NRI customer instead of processing it immediately, the bank asks them to send a signed request via post or submit it through secure online banking. So this ensure authenticity and prevent the fraud, right? Option C say ask for the proof of address verified by foreign authority. This is wrong. You know that the proof of address verification is usually required when opening an account or updating KYC, not for processing a fund transfer request. So if an NRI want to update their overseas address, they may need to provide address proof, but for a transaction request this is not necessary. And option D says ignore the request as fraudulent. See, this is incorrect also, because not all email requests are fraudulent. Instead of ignoring the request, the bank must follow proper verification procedure and ask for a secure way to process the transaction. So NRI customer may genuinely need to transfer fund, but just because they send an email does not mean that the request is fraudulent. So the bank should verify it properly. So the correct answer is option number B, right? So quick recap: option A is wrong because processing without verification can lead to a fraud. Option B is correct because the written request ensure authenticity. Option C is wrong because address proof is needed for KYC, not transaction. And option D is wrong because not all email requests are fraudulent. So I hope this makes your concept clear. What as a branch manager you should do in such a situation? Right, very nice. Now let's see the next question. What is the correct sequence of steps involved in online transaction? Right, what is the correct sequence of steps involved in online transaction? This is the question. Let's go through. So have you ever wondered what happened behind the scene when you buy something online? Let's break it down. Option A say payment, registration, placing order. Option B say registration, placing an order, payment, placing an order, payment, registration. Option D say registration, payment, placing an order. So take a moment to think about it. All right, so let's break down each option to see which one makes sense. Option A say payment, registration, placing order. This is incorrect because you can't pay before you haven't registered or place an order. Website need your detail first before processing payment. So imagine you visit an e-commerce site and the first thing they ask you is the payment. Sound odd, right? You need to register and then choose a product. That is what you do when you search on our app. You go to our app JAIIB and CAIIB made simple. First of all, you register there, you look for the product, then you place an order, and then you do the payment, right? Option B is the correct one because the first thing that you should do is registration. It means that creating an account by providing detail like email ID, name and address. Then you place an order, then you look for the product, you select a product and add it to your cart and review the order, and then you finally do the payment. That is the customer make the payment through credit card, debit card, net banking or digital wallet, whatever it is. So the payment process is encrypted for security, right? You know it very well. So that is why this option number B is the correct one. Correct answer is option number B. Now option number C says placing an order, payment and registration. So have you ever tried checking out as a guest on a shopping website? Even then they ask you detail for before allowing payment. And option D say registration, payment and placing an order. So this is also incorrect because you won't make a payment before selecting what to buy, right? So for example, imagine paying for a meal before choosing your dish at a restaurant. It does not work that way. So the correct answer is option number B, that you can't. So first of all you will do registration, then after you will place an order, and finally you will do the payment. This is the correct sequence. Now let's see the next one. What is the key feature of the eKYC? That is electronic know your customer process introduced in 2015. So this question is regarding eKYC process introduced in 2015. What is the key feature? So let's see the option. So did you know that in 2015 India introduced eKYC, that is called electronic know your customer, a digital way of verifying identity, right? So option A says that manual verification of identity document. Option B say use of digital signature by Aadhaar authority and e-consent of subscriber. Option C say physical submission of paper-based KYC form. Option D say no requirement for authentication during KYC. Option A say manual verification of identity document. This is incorrect because traditional KYC required physical verification, but eKYC was introduced to digitalize the process and eliminate manual check. Earlier you had to visit a bank, submit photocopies of document and wait for days. So eKYC changed this by making it instant and digital. Option B is the use of digital signature by Aadhaar authority. This is the correct answer. There is something called digital signature. Digital signature means Aadhaar authority digitally sign the KYC data, ensuring authenticity. The second thing is the key feature is the e-consent. What is the meaning of e-consent? It means the customer give electronic approval to share Aadhaar details securely. And then we have the third part, which is paperless. The entire process is done online, making it faster and safer. And option C is a physical submission of paper-based KYC form. So this is incorrect because eKYC was introduced to remove the need for physical form and streamline verification. Imagine opening a bank account from your home without any paperwork. So this become possible with eKYC. And option D say no requirement for authentication during KYC. This is incorrect because KYC still require authentication, just in a digital way through Aadhaar based verification. For example, without authentication, anyone can misuse identity. So eKYC ensures security through Aadhaar based verification. So the correct answer is option number B. So option A is wrong because manual verification was a part of traditional KYC, not eKYC. Option B is correct because digital signature and e-consent made KYC secure and instant. Option C is wrong because eKYC removed the need for physical paperwork. And option D is wrong because authentication is still required just digitally. So I hope this make your concept clear, right? So this was the main point which we have just covered now. Let's see the next one. So the next one is, what is the primary function of a firewall in network security? So this question is asking that primary function of a firewall in the network security. So option A says that encrypting all outgoing and incoming data. Option B say monitoring and filtering network traffic based on predefined security rule. Option C say backing up data automatically, and option D say managing user authentication credential. So what do you think is the correct here? What is the primary use of firewall in network security? Option B is correct, right? Firewall is a critical component in network security that serve as a barrier between a trusted internet network and untrusted external network. So it is a primary function. Its primary function is to monitor and filter both incoming and outgoing network traffic based on what? So on the basis of what does it filter? Based on the predefined security rule. So this help prevent unauthorized access and potential cyber threat from reaching internal system. So option A, C and D which describe other network functionality such as encryption. So option A, you see this describe encryption, right? Option C, you see backing up, that is called backup. And option D, you can see that authentication management. Option D is regarding the authentication management. So unlike this option number B accurately describe the main use of firewall, right? That is the main use of firewall. So friends, this is the first part of the lecture. If you want me to continue, please type yes in the chat box. I will bring part 2 also, because you can see I have more questions which are asked in the previous year. And friends, again I am reminding you, if you want previous year question, if you want unit wise,
listen the explanation. The question is, which of the following best describe a shoulder surfing attack? So what is a shoulder surfing attack is all about? Option A says that an attacker remotely hacks into the victim system using malware to steal login credential. Option B says that attacker physically observe the victim device screen and keypad to capture sensitive information. Option C says that attacker send deceptive email to trick the victim into revealing the password. And option D says that attacker uses software tool to guess the victim password through repeated trial. So if you look at the option number A, this is not shoulder surfing. This is not shoulder surfing, right? Here the attacker use malware. In option number A, attacker is using what? Attacker is using malware, or attacker is using the virus to enter the system secretly and steal the login data. For example, take the case of Trojan. Okay, so the Trojan installed in your computer stealing saved password. So this Trojan, what it do, it steal the saved password. Okay, so this is called remote hacking attack. This is called what? Remote hacking attack. Okay, not the physical observation. Here it is written physical observation. This is completely wrong. What about option B? Option B says that attacker physically observes the victim device screen and keypad to capture the sensitive information. This is exactly what shoulder surfing is all about. Imagine that you are at ATM, right? Think about it. You are at ATM typing your PIN, okay, and someone standing behind you secretly watches your hand movement and the screen. Or you are entering a password on your phone in public and someone peeks over your shoulder. Because sometimes what happened, the attacker even use cameras or binocular from a distance. So the key point is, it is a physical spying attack. So if you look at the option number B, it is it is the physical spying attack. It is a kind of physical spying attack, right? Done by directly watching you. What about option number C? So option number C says that attacker send deceptive email to trick the victim into revealing password. So this is called phishing. This is called phishing, right? For example, you get an email pretending to be from your bank, right? So option number C is about phishing. Suppose you get an email, right, and you pretending to be from your bank, asking you to verify your account and enter your password. So here what you do, you tricked into giving your information voluntarily. You are tricked to give your information voluntarily. Again, it is different from shoulder surfing because phishing is done online through fake messages. What about option D? It says that attacker use software tool to guess the victim password through repeated trial. So this is called brute force attack. This is called brute force attack, right? So what attacker do? Attacker keep trying thousands of password combination until they get the right one. Like suppose hacker run a program to test all possible password like 1 2 3 4 A B C D etc. This is done through a software, not by physically watching someone. So the correct answer to this question is option number B. So let's quickly summarize the key point. Option number A is about malware attack, right? Remote access. Then option number B is about shoulder surfing, which is a physical observation attack. Option number C is about phishing, which fake email and message. And option number D is brute force attack, which means software guessing or password. So friends, that is all we need to learn from this particular question. I hope the explanation is crystal clear and your concept is also clear. Now let's look at the question number 2. Who are referred to as elite hacker in the context of cybersecurity? So it is a very good question. Options are hackers who only engage in legal, ethical hacking activity for organization. Option B, beginner who use ready-made tools without deep technical knowledge. Option C, highly skilled hacker with year of experience, often innovator in cybersecurity who can switch between white and black hat hacking. And option D, government appointed official working exclusively in national cybersecurity defense. These are the 4 options. The question is asking you about elite hacker. So if you look at the option number A is these are called white hat hacker. They are called white hat hacker. Okay, they are also called ethical hacker. For example, suppose there is a company hires a hacker to test their website security. Suppose there is a company which hire hacker. Why the company hire hacker? To test their website security. Now the hacker find weak point and report them, not to misuse them. So this option is not about elite hacker, it is just ethical hacker, right? So what do you think about option A? This is wrong, right? Then option number B says that beginner who use ready-made tools without deep technical knowledge. So they are called script kiddies. They are called script kiddies. They don't really understand coding or hacking deeply. Someone download a free password cracking tool from the internet and click run without knowing how it works. Definitely not elite hacker. They are actually the opposite end of the scale. Option C, highly skilled hacker with year of experience, often innovator in cybersecurity, who can switch between white and black hat hacking. Yes, this is the correct one. This describes the elite hacking. The question is about the elite hacking, and this is what elite hacking is all about. They are Einstein of the hacking world, extremely talented, extremely experienced. They don't use existing tool. They actually create new hacking technique. They create new hacking tools. For example, they might discover a weakness in the brand new software before even the company notice it. So they can act like both. They can act like white hat, right? They can act like white hat, which means helping organization, right? And they can also act like a black hat. Black hat means causing damage, right? So they can act like a both. They can act like a white hat. They can act like a black hat. White hat means helping organization. Black hat means causing damage. That's why they are the most powerful and sometimes the most dangerous, right? They are the most powerful as well as the most dangerous. So option number D says that government appointed officer working exclusively in national cyber security defense. So these are usually the cyber security analyst. They are what? They are cyber security analyst, right? Or cyber command expert, but they are not elite hacker. They are professional hired to protect national security, not necessarily the innovator of hacking technique. So the correct answer to this question is option number C, right? Which means elite hacker are the highly skilled, innovative expert at the very top of hacker community. So let's quickly summarize. Option number A is about white hat, which are ethical hacker. These are called ethical hacker, white hat. Then B is about script kiddies. See, why I'm explaining every option, because sometimes question may be asked from option number B. So you must know what is the meaning of script kiddies. Beginner using the ready tool. Option number C is about elite hacking. Top skilled innovator, they can switch hat. And option number D is about government cybersecurity professional. I hope it is crystal clear. Now let's see the next question. The next question is, which of the following ways describe a cross-site scripting attack? Right. So cross-site scripting attack, or we call it XXX attack. Friends, before moving to this question, if you are looking for a study material for cyber security and fraud management, then you can check our course in the description section below, or you can WhatsApp me on this particular number to get detail about the course. In the course you get unit-wise theory. In the course you will get unit-wise MCQs. There are almost 2000 plus MCQs, and also memory-based question like this with proper explanation, so that you can check that which topics are super important, which are not, and you can do your preparation accordingly. Many aspirants have cracked the paper using our material. You can also crack in the very first attempt itself. Now friends, let's talk about what is the meaning of XXS. Right. Options are: an attacker inject malicious script into a web application input field that are executed on the client side without proper validation. Option B says that attacker intercept and alter the communication between two systems without being detected. Option C says that a deliberate attempt to overwhelm a server with excessive traffic causing DOS. DOS means denial of services. Option D says that a method where an attacker gain unauthorized access by exploiting weak or default password. Now let's describe this cross-site scripting attack. So basically, if you look at the option number A, this is exactly what XXS mean, right? This is exactly the meaning of XXS. In simple term, the attacker find a website. Yes, this attacker find a website where user input is not checked properly, right? They insert what? They insert harmful code. They insert harmful code, usually JavaScript, into the input. The attacker find a website where user input is not checked properly. They insert harmful code into that input. When another user open that page, the harmful code run inside their browser. Let me give you one example of it. For example, a comment box on a website where someone posts a script instead of the text. When others read that comment, the script steals their cookies or redirect them to a fake site. So main risk is that that the data theft. Yes, this is one of the main risks. Data theft, or session hijacking. Session hijacking is there, or redirecting victim to malicious site. These are the main these are the main risks. Now what about option B? Option B says that an attacker intercept and alter communication between two systems without being detected. See, this is called MITM attack. What is MITM? MITM stands for man in the middle. Man in the middle attack. So suppose you are on public Wi-Fi and a hacker secretly intercept your banking data while it travels from your laptop to the bank server. This is about intercepting communication, not injecting a script into website. So this is not correct. What about C? C says that a deliberate attempt to overwhelm the server with excessive traffic causing denial of service. See, this describes the DOS attack. This is called DOS attack. For example, suppose thousands of fake requests are sent into the website until it crashes. The goal is to make the website unavailable, not to inject code into the user browser. What about option D? A method where attacker gain unauthorized access by exploiting weak or default password. What do you think about it? So this is called password attack. This is called password attack. Right. For example, use admin123. You use admin123, okay? Or password as login credential. This is about weak authentication, not malicious script injection. So remember, this cross-site scripting is when the attacker insert malicious code into the website input. Attacker insert the malicious code into the website input. Okay, attacker insert the malicious code into the website input and it execute in the victim browser. So let's quickly summarize the key points which we have covered here. So we started with the XSS. XSS means injecting malicious script. Whenever you see this word, remember it means injecting the malicious script. Where? Injecting the malicious script into the website input. Right, that is called XSS. And then we talked about MITM. MITM means man in the middle. Remember it? It means intercepting the communication. DOS attack means overloading server with traffic. So whenever you see this DOS attack, just think of overloading the server. So see, from one question, four different concepts is being cleared. Not only one concept. I don't only explain the correct one. I explain all the options. That is the peculiarity of this session. The last one is the password attack, which means using weak and default password. Now friends, let's look at the next question. Which of the following is the primary objective of ISO 27001 standard? Exactly same question appear in the examination. So options are: defining guidelines for software development lifecycle. Option B, establishing and maintaining ISMS, that is called Information Security Management System, to manage and mitigate information security risk. Option C, say regulating online financial transaction for the bank. Option D, providing a specification for hardware manufacturing in cyber security. Let's look at option number A. It says that defining guideline for software development. This is incorrect, because guideline for software development are usually covered by other standard like ISO 12207. Okay, it covered it. For example, deciding how programmers should test code, right? How programmers should test code, or how to move from design to testing to deployment, right? These things are there. So ISO 27001 is not about coding step. What about option B? Yes, option B is the correct one. Why option B is the correct one? Let me explain. So we talk about the option number B. So to the context of option number B, you can see that this is the main goal of ISO 27001. In simple word, it help organization create a systematic process. It help organization create a systematic process to protect sensitive information from risk like hacking, leaking, or misuse. For example, suppose there is a bank which is using ISO 27001, right? So this particular bank would identify possible risk like customer data theft, right? It will identify possible risk like customer data theft or put control, right? These are the risks like customer data theft, put control, and keep checking or improving security regularly. So whichever bank is using this ISO 27001, it would identify the possible risk, put control, and keep checking or improving regularly. So remember, it is just a one-time setup. It is a one-time setup. Okay, it is not just a one-time setup. It is a continuous improvement cycle. Option C is regulating online financial transaction. So this is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because this is governed by another this is governed by another ISO, which is ISO 27, right? Which is basically these are banking transactions are regulated by financial authority. You might have heard of RBI. You might have heard of PCI DSS. Okay, for card payment. PCI DSS is there for card payment. Okay, and ISO 27001 does apply to any organization, whether hospital, whether IT company, government, not just bank only. It is talking only for bank. That is wrong. What about D? Providing a specification for hardware manufacturing and cyber security. This is also incorrect. Why? Because hardware standards are handled by ISO or IEC standard. Okay, ISO and IEC standard are there to handle the hardware standard. For example, suppose there is a company, it is building security chips. So there are separate guidelines, but this ISO 27001 does not talk about hardware speculation at all. So the correct answer is option number B. Okay, so let's quickly summarize the key point which we have covered in this particular question. So we started with option number A. Remember, option number A is about the software development life cycle, which is not ISO 27001. Option number B is the correct one, which is ISMS. Just remember this keyword, right? This is ISMS, Information Security Management System. So this is risk-based information security management, and this is the correct one. Option C is about the financial transaction, right? This is not related. And option D is about hardware specification. This is also not related. Now friends, let's look at the next question. The question asks you what is the primary role of CERT-IN in India's cyber security ecosystem. So friends, that options are monitoring only banking sector cyber threat. Option B, coordinating response to cyber security incident, issuing alerts and guidelines, acting as a national nodal agency. Option C, regulating digital payment transaction in India. Option D, manufacturing cyber security hardware for government use. So let's start with option number A. Option number A is wrong. Why? Because CERT-IN is not limited to only bank. Is not limited to bank. Okay. For example, if a cyber attack happen on an e-commerce site, a hospital system, or even a government portal, so CERT-IN steps in, not just for bank. So this is too narrow. What about option B? Option B says that coordinating response. Yes, this is the correct one. This is the correct one. This is the real role of CERT-IN. You can think of the CERT-IN as the cyber first responder. They are called the cyber first responder of India. If there is a cyber attack anywhere in the country, CERT-IN help detect, analyze, and control the damage. This is called cyber first responder. For example, if there is a new virus spreading through email, CERTIN issues an advisory warning people and organization on how to stay safe. They also guide company on best practices like patching software or securing the network. Option C says that regulating digital payment transaction in India. What do you think about it? So friend, this is not correct, right? So this is mainly done by the RBI. This is done by the RBI or the Reserve Bank of India and related payment regulator. This is not done by the CERTIN. Okay, CERTIN may help in security aspect, but it does not regulate payment. Regulation payment is not done by CERTIN. Option D, manufacturing cyber security hardware. It is again wrong. CERTIN does not build hardware like firewall, chips or server. Their work is about monitoring threat and issuing guidelines. So yes, correct answer is option number B, right? So option number A is wrong. That is only bank. So it is that only banking sector. This is wrong. This is too narrow. Option B is correct. 3 words you must note it down. That national cyber response. Okay. Second point, alert and guidelines. And option number C, digital payment regulation. This is RBI job. Option number D, hardware manufacturing, not CERTIN. Now the next question is, which of the following best describe the script greedy in cyber security? I think we have discussed in the previous question. See, that's why I told you, the concept is repeated in the examination. If your concept is crystal clear, nobody can stop you from reaching that landmark of the milestone. So option C says that experienced hacker who write their own sophisticated hacking tool, and an amateur hacker who use pre-written script and tool created by another to conduct attack, a cyber security professional who protect network against attack, a hacker specializing in social engineering technique. So if you look at the option number A, what do you think about option number A? Option number A is not correct. Why? Because this sound like an elite hacking, that which we have already covered, right? Or a highly skilled professional. For example, someone who actually develop a brand new virus or design advanced hacking software. And these script kiddies are just opposite of that. Option number B is amateur hacker. Yes, this is the correct one. This is exactly what script kiddies is. So what they do, they don't know much about coding or hacking deeply. They just download free hacking tool. Yes, that is what they do. What they do, they download free hacking tools. They download free hacking tool from the internet and click run. For example, instead of writing a password cracking program, they simply use one made by someone else. What about option C? Cyber security professional who protect network against attack. This is also not correct. This is actually a ethical hacker. This is actually a ethical hacker, not attack. The ethical hacker, or we can call it the security analyst. Ethical hacker or security analyst, their job is to defend, not attack, right? And option number D is a hacker specializing in social engineering. This is also incorrect, because social engineering is when hacker trick people. In the case of social engineering, what happened? Hacker trick people. Okay, hacker trick people into giving away information. For example, calling someone pretending to be from the bank to steal their OTP. This is different type of hacker, not a script kiddie. So the correct answer to this question is option number B. Remember, option number A is skilled hacker, which is also called, elite hacker. Option number B is the amateur using ready-made tool. This is called, script kiddie. Option number C is cyber security professional. Right, this is defender. This is the kind of defender. And option number D is a social engineering hacker. This is again wrong. Okay. So remember, a script kiddie is a copy-paste hacker. Now let's look at the next question. So friends, if you really think that this concept, everything which I am explaining to you is clear to you, please hit that like button. This will motivate me to make more such content. Now the question is, what does the term cyber smearing refers to in cyber security? Option A, the act of remotely hacking into company database and stealing the data. Option B, anonymous posting of false, defamatory or disparaging information online to damage a company or individual reputation. Option C, the use of malware to disrupt the functioning of a website. Option D, sending phishing email that trick victim into revealing the sensitive information. If you look at the option A, this is not correct. Why? Because this describe a data breach. Yes, it describe what? It describe a data breach. Okay, it describe a hacking attack. It describe a hacking attack. For example, suppose there is a hacker who break into a company server and steal the customer information. So cyber smearing is not about stealing data. It's about spreading false information. It's about spreading the false information. Option number B is the correct one. Right. See, this is exactly what cyber smearing is. In simple word, someone post lies or harmful statement about a person or a company online to ruin their reputation. right? Or spreading rumors about a public figure to harm their image. So the key point is that attacker usually stay anonymous. Whoever is the attacker, they stay anonymous. Okay, the option number C, the use of malware. This is again wrong. Why? This is more like a DOS, denial of service attack or malware attack. It's about disabling the system. It's about disabling system, not spreading rumor or false information. Option number D is also incorrect. Why? Because it describes the phishing attack. Phishing attack means where the goal is to steal information like password or bank detail. Right. So what we learned from this discussion is that option A is wrong. That is hacking and stealing data is wrong. Option B means false information to harm reputation is correct. Option C is malware to disrupt website is wrong. Option D is phishing to steal information is again wrong. Now let's look at this question. Which of the following option best describe the wiretapping in cybercrime? Option A, the unauthorized interception and monitoring of electronic communication like phone call, email, digital message. Option B, physically stealing a device to access stored information. Option C, using ransomware to encrypt data and demand payment. Option D, sending phishing email to trick user into revealing password. What do you think is correct one? So friends, option number A is the correct one. This is exactly what wiretapping is all about. In some simple way, we can say that someone secretly listening or monitor your call, email or online messages without permission. Let me give you one example. Suppose there is a hacker. Okay, this hacker uses software to capture your email, to capture your chat message or tap a phone line to hear private conversation. So the key point is that wiretapping violate privacy. Remember, this violate privacy, okay, unless authorized by the law enforcement. What about option B? Option B is also not correct because it is simply theft. It is simply called theft or device hacking. You can call it theft or you can call it device hacking. For example, stealing a laptop or phone to get file and password. This is called this is not wiretapping. Wiretapping does not involve stealing the device. It is about intercepting the communication remotely. Option C is wrong. Why it is wrong? It is called ransomware attack. A hacker lock your computer file and demand money to unlock them. So wiretapping is monitoring or listening, not encrypting or locking data. Option D is phishing. See, this is a phishing attack where the goal is to steal credential by tricking user. Wiretapping does not trick the user. It secretly monitor communication. So what we learned from this discussion that option A is intercepting communication. It is wiretapping. Option B is stealing device. It is wrong. Ransomware attack wrong. Phishing email wrong. So that is the answer. Friends, there are some more questions available. If you want me to explain that also, please write yes in the chat box.